Hello, and welcome to another wonderful morning here for us anyway. Evening or afternoon, I think, over in China. But whatever time of the day it is, I hope you're ready for some MSI deciding action. Best of 5 fearless today between BLG and IG to determine the LPL's last spot at MSI. LCK and LPL at the same time is a crime. Yeah, today of all days for sure. As an interview, and I'll leave you with that. But it is always the case. 我们现在邀请到的是 BLG 星际魅族的 Elk 选手，先有请他跟大家打声招呼。
大家好，我是 BLG ADL。
欢迎 Elk。那今天的两队巅峰对决，下路的博弈是至关重要的。那在你看来，你觉得今天下路的博弈会如何展开呢？
我觉得他们打我们其实更多的可能就是看下路的线权吧，然后我们自己的话就是要注意我们自己的失误，还有和队友的沟通吧。
那跨过今天这一场 BO5，你们即将会登上决赛的舞台，同时也能够获得 MSI 的门票。所以在这样的巅峰对决之前，有什么想要对队友说的加油的话，给他们注入信心呢？
就想和队友说，就是因为我们在第1轮的时候已经碰到过 IG 了嘛，然后我们也是就3比0拿下了他们，然后就证明其实是我们的整个队伍还有我们的个人实力都是更加厉害一点的。然后我觉得在今天的话，其实就是我们只需要正常发挥吧，然后在我们该沟通的时候沟通好，然后我们就能赢下来的。然后我们也一定会去到 MSI 的。
好的，就让我们一同期待今天这一场对决吧。我们邀请到的是 IG 的德筛选手，先有请他跟大家打声招呼。
大家好，我是 IG 上单德筛。
欢迎帅哥。那距离上一次跟 BLG 交手呢，已经过去了10多天的时间了。你们在这一段时间的淘汰赛当中，也接连应战了很多的强队，也同时为队伍带来了非常多的历练。所以你觉得这一些比赛为队伍带来了多大的底气？同时，你觉得 IG 在这一段时间实现了怎样的突破呢？
我们打了很多比赛吧，是我们小进步了，沟通方面吧，是我们靠这个打比赛，是加油。
所以沟通方面是有很大进步的。那同样的，今天这一场比赛的胜利呢，能够带来的是去往决赛，同时也能获得 MSI 的门票。所以这一场比赛对于队伍来说是能够扭转命运的。所以在赛前有什么想要对队友说的加油的话，给他们注入信心呢？
没什么吧。加油！
一切尽在不言中，希望可以能够好好发挥，好好表现，好好加油。那我们一同期待今天这一场焦点战。
观看2025英雄联盟职业联赛第2赛段，您可以通过英雄联盟客户端找上英雄联盟及英雄联盟赛事官网 LPL.QQ.com、虎牙直播、斗鱼直播、哔哩哔哩直播、咪咕视频、腾讯视频、腾讯体育、新浪微博、微信视频号进行收看。电视机前的召唤师可以通过百视通平台收看全程赛事。嘿，来认识一下这位新队友，全新沉淀长轴距 CLA。李宁英雄联盟泳池派对2025新品现已上市，京东618搜赛事预测，10万份游戏好礼免费送，我在场就是主场，莫斯利安为 LPL 奶一口。全新 OPPO Find X8 系列夜景人像神器，夜拍超清晰，人像 MVP。TCL 全屋智慧家电，峡谷英雄敢为不凡。2025 LPL 官方指定家电产品。更受电竞用户喜欢的能量饮料，有能量当然
Okay,
占
I'm
榜
back, and this time I have
澳丰电
caffeine.
竞椅
I
连续
even
5
brushed
年
my
中国
teeth.
电竞椅
So
销
ready
量
to
第
go.
一。开一局吗？开就开，保护有度度，尽情开一局。感谢全场保护的杜蕾斯。
Hey,
英特尔
Darkwell,
酷
good
瑞
to see you.
Ultra
Hope you're doing well.
$200HX
Thanks for
冷
the
酷
resub.
高手
Always makes a
AI
difference.
助攻
Thank you.
六边形战士来袭。
So, I hope everyone's ready for our MSI qualifying series. We have a cool opening for it.
Make 'em hear us now. We setting the tone, we bringing it home. When I pull up, we giving it all we got. It will not be long when I get in my zone. They know that I gotta keep popping out. Undeniable, yeah, the energy I'm giving, know they feel it, yeah, 'cause it's crazy. We walk in the room and come with a broom. We know that they hearing us now. Make 'em hear us now. Can you hear us now? Make 'em hear us now. Can you hear us now? Make 'em hear us. Make 'em hear us now. Make 'em hear us. Make 'em hear us now. Can you hear us now?
Oh, what a banger intro. What a banger intro. We're in the knockouts now, folks. Quite heavily into them. Let's watch these teams get out on the stage.
欢迎来到2025英雄联盟职业联赛第2赛段淘汰赛，这里是京东电子竞技中心，让我们有请 BDB Gaming Dream Smart Invictus Gaming。有请上单冰的晒。打野北川杰杰。中单 Knight Rookie。下路 Elf Gala。辅助 On Mako。
H-Lead Genji's gone to 47 minutes in the first game. Jeez, well, I hope we can match that today, folks. I hope we can match
2025
that.
英雄联盟职业联赛第2赛段淘汰赛败者组决赛 ，BLG 刑警魅族对阵 IG 即将开始 ，LPL 无畏进巅峰。
Hey, Bell. Hey, Mecca. Hey, Dark World. Hot Wheels. Hey, Solly. Good to see everyone in chat. What are the predictions today? Well, everyone on the desk from the Chinese side were predicting a BLG win, whether it was 3-2 or 3-1. No, I think IG are drafting very well. I think that the Shy is playing very well. I think that Rookie's playing well. I think JJ had a very good series versus WE. But BLG just got their asses kicked. I say that, it was a 5-game series with AL. They are such good individual players that if they choose to turn up on form, then magic happens. Magic happens. IG have not beaten BLG this year either. They lost to them twice in Group Ascent. Gotta go check out exactly what the head-to-head is. They didn't play in Split 1 because they were in different groups and they didn't meet in playoffs. But yeah, 2-0 in the first round, 2-1 in the second round of BLG, and then 3-0 in the first round of playoffs here in this split. Draft. First game. IG winning would be low-key best case scenario from other regions because they look like a more beatable team. In some ways they do. By the way, let's change ourselves onto full camera. Bans coming through quick and fast. Quick is another way to say fast as well, so I hear. Trundle ban away from IG. Does that mean they want to first pick something like a Scion? Or something more tanky? JJ played a mean Trundle the other day. Something like 9 kills on the champion. It's absolutely ridiculous. Pantheon Talia not available. Kai'Sa early pick. I'm surprised that one's banned away, actually. There was stuff like the Rumble available. 65 streak. Thank you so much, Sully. I appreciate it. So, do you want to pick something like a Scion? Stuff like Ahri and Vi. Vi is open as well right now. Do you take the Poppy to counter a Vi plus a dash champion, especially with the Talia gone? Vi Ahri not unlikely from IG. Rumble there as well. They lock the Rumble. Do you lock the Vi as well? Do you lock the Vi as well? Ezra locks in for Gala. So not going towards the Vi. Is that a bait pick for this draft or something? Do you think that each team is prepared something for it? LCK is on break, LPL is live, and LPL is very much live, so thank you everyone for joining us here. Now you have the chance to take the Ahri for Knight. You can chuck the Poppy into support role if you want. Take the Vi Ahri, because you've already got the Poppy now on your team. That's one of the anti-dash champions. You have Talia banned on the other side, so the anti-dash is quite low now from IG. I haven't seen that much Ambassador on the other side of things. Both teams just avoiding Vi like the plague. Very surprising, given that it's been almost 100% ban rate throughout the games that he has been available in. Very surprising to me. Yorick, we're seeing more of that into the Rumble, even though the Yorick the Rumble can wave clear. The Yorick, if he's ever given a chance to sit in a side lane, we'll just destroy that side lane, right? So the Poppy potentially still going jungle, not being flexed down towards support. 2 very comfortable solo lanes for BLG. Knight, best Ahri player in the world. Played a lot of Yorick this split too. The Flex Rumble support, I mean, that is something which FPX did the other day. Rookie locks in Annie. Now that is a very good combo with the Rumble to kind of CC people in place. You can also go Bloodletter's Curse to shred some magic resist for the Rumble as double AP solo laners, and it does well into the Ahri. Shanks used this against Knight's Ahri the other day to really hurt him. Is Knight going to beat Rookie on his own skin again? They haven't been playing that game again recently. Basically, after that happened, Rookie started playing other skins again. But that is a great callback. Knight, back in 24 spring, took Rookie's skin, which he'd used all the way back from 2014, the Foxfire Ahri, and beat him on it in an elimination series to then go forwards. It was insane. It was very, very cool. And then Rookie's not picked that skin again. He hasn't picked it again. Into the second round. No, well, IG think that maybe the Poppy could go support. We had called that out. No Vi ban right now. Sorry, no, BLG, they're banning with the junglers, but potentially IG could have to be worried about that Poppy going to support, as we were saying. Banning away AD carries instead of supports with that in mind, I suppose. BLG banning away the Skarner. What else would you want to ban away? I guess you could ban away something like a Sejuani, but there's no melee synergies. Just thinking about stuff for CC combos for the Rumble. Xin Zhao would be a good ban here, actually, given the early power of BLG and what they wouldn't want to face against. I think Xin Zhao is a good ban here. Or the Vi, again. What's the choice here? Oh yeah, an Elise ban away from on. BLG have been using Elise support incredibly well. Incredibly well. Karma band. Yeah, reminder folks, winner of this goes to MSI alongside anyone's legend from the LPL. Is it going to be BLG, our recent overlords? Or is it going to be IG, making it back to an international for the first time since 2019 Worlds? Support, potentially blind hit picked here for IG. And now with the Alistair down bot side, you can go Poppy support here for on. You can. Misfortune Poppy, not a bad combo either. You go towards the Vi for the top side now. Or Xin Zhao as well. We talked about the value of that. JJ being really prioritized winning jungle matchup, much like it was versus Team WE. Yeah. MF, you know, would have been really good lane dominance. Jhin also lane dominant, and it does bring in some extra long-range CC. Quite hard for the Annie and the Rumble. Well, not the Rumble. Quite hard for the Annie to get towards them. Now, they're not going to use that Poppy Flex down to support. They will put the Rel in there. So your CC is Jhin, Rel. Not necessarily the best mid-jungle or the top-side pairing. Oh, and fun thing you can do, by the way, though. You can, I believe, use the Poppy E to go into the Dark Procession of Yorick. Even though Yorick's team can walk through it normally, I believe you can use that. JJ thinking about a Jungle Zed for the first game of player. Jungle Zed for JJ. Jungle Zed for IG in the first game of the elimination series, of the qualification series for MSI. JJ's feeling it. They gave him last pick. He's not a dash champion. Doesn't work like that for Poppy. Very fast jungle clear. Very good damage. Brings some physical damage that they were lacking. Absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. Rookie looking to break his international curse. Rookie has not gone international since 2019 Worlds. IG have not gone international since 2019 Worlds. The rest of the teammates, they have gone international elsewhere. They've found their success, but many of them have now returned home or returned to this glorious organization to try and find something a little bit special. The Shy reached a World Finals with Weibo in 23. JJ and Mako reached a World title on 2021 with EDG, and Gala became a multiple-time MSI champion as well. All of them have now joined forces here with Rookie, one of the true greats of the LPL, to see if they can lift him to another international appearance. BLG, though, stand in their way. BLG, they have been our overlords, the dominators of the LPL for the last few years. Rose to greatness in 2023, making multiple finals and international events and regionally through the help of Tabe. Of course, waits for them in the finals with anyone's legend. BLG, a team which reached World Finals Game 5. Let's see if they can reach themselves an MSI here today through a Jungle Zed locked in from JJ in Game 1. Those gyros mighty loud as Sam drops the chair on the mic stand again as he joined us here for this morning. Good to see you, Sam.
Good to be here.
Sam, we have a Jungle Zed from JJ in Game 1. Last pick, Jungle Zed, IG, of course with qualification to MSI on the line, as I did need to pump the volume so that perhaps the gyros could have been even louder if I'd been there on time, but I was too busy watching Sam with his chair antics again. It's one of my more entertaining parts of the day. Welcome, everyone. There's a break between LCK right now as their first game just ended, so if you're tuning in for the LPL, here is what is at stake. This series is our lower bracket finals. Winner of this fearless best of 5 goes to finals to face anyone's legend, and will qualify to MSI alongside them as well. BLG were our expected finalists. They lost in a 5-game series to anyone's legend. IG, a team which were a super team but hadn't found success, but is starting to ramp up. And with JJ doing the right tech here on Zed, by the way, you smite early to make sure that he gets his passive unlocked early onto jungle camps. He will be very important to watch with his clear speed.
Massive pickup here for the jungler. I heard the cry of Zed jungle locked in from miles away, and I was summoned. Would be a great time, I think, today. How are you feeling about the draft? Seem relatively evenly matched as far as I can get off initial glance.
I think that IG have a more coherent draft. I think that they have really good CC to like lock in towards the equalizer. I do think that at BLG, much like many BLG drafts, I don't think it's coherent, but I think the players are good at their champions, and that is sometimes the most important thing for BLG. Forever, BLG have been determined by, well, we're so good, the draft doesn't always have to be as good as our players. You have Nymaera, you have Nabin on the Yorick, Beitron's comfortable on the Poppy, Elk a very good Jhin, and of course on the Ral, a master of engage as well. So,
and you have got a lot of pick CC. You do.
You need to be afraid not to get Annied or Rumbled though, which can be a big problem.
Yeah, and that will be threatening indeed, especially when you've got the Zed kind of potentially threatening someone like the Jhin on the back line or following up on a lot of that burst. You're in that position where the person who is hit by several of those ultimates is unlikely to survive.
Beitron 5-0, that includes his TT games, I believe. JJ, by the way, has completed his first clear already back for double long swords. So before even scuttles have spawned,
that's mental.
This champion is not fair. Stun misses, that's the W. Ignite was dropped there too. Big miss there from Elkanon.
I pick up the Zed jungle, apparently.
Yeah, I've been playing it a lot. It's really fun. By the way, there's some super broken builds on the champion. Yeah, he has double long swords. Beitron can't walk up to this. JJ has his first back already.
Crash down on the bottom side, bit of damage onto Mako, who will be forced to heal there as Elk gets the fourth shot off. Good trade back from Gallo, though, gets the press the attack and the extra damage from that. But yes, Zed very, very broken right now with stuff like Death's Dance, first item. Bin has overpushed now, oh, flash away. Unfortunately, despite having Poppy clear towards the top side, he couldn't get the wave shoved in and dies to try and make it happen, as JJ does have to burn the flash, as does the Shy, but the kill is secured.
And it goes to Zed. Zed is so good with gold. Of course he is. He's one of these assassins which has been so powerful over time. Good trading there from Knight, actually. Can be hard to play against the Annie. But he's doing well so far in the laning matchup. Flash Dark Q could kill here, actually. Jeez, that was close.
30 HP.
If he'd flashed for an auto attack, he would have killed. Tower shot, I guess it would have been a 1-for-1 if Rookie had pressed his keys quickly enough. Trading the bot side now.
A lot of mana to work with. Elk slightly in danger, but good enough feat there to avoid half the damage or so.
Press the attack being threatened there as well. So yes, folks, Zed, jungle, very strong right now. He'll likely go towards the Eclipse. He's gone for the Conqueror build. You can go towards something like Death's Dance, though, and it's just a very, very good brawling item. Beitron on bot side just to make sure that the clear is uninterrupted, but perhaps there's another angle here now. Flash for flash.
Looking for that support, couldn't quite find it. BLG thwarted in their attempts to make a play on the bot side.
While this is happening up, Jurjip keeps clearing in a way that he will always continue to do. Remember, no flash on the Shy now. Starting to be unhappy in this match. I went for that anti-heal first from the Oblivion Orb. Yeah. Trying to tamp down on this individual matchup. Quite hard to do that, though. Against the Yorick. Like, you wave clear down. Rumble is not one of the worst matchups into Yorick. You wave clear fine. It's just that you don't win against Yorick, which is kind of annoying because he doesn't get to do that much in the matchup now. Jungle support, both roaming topside.
He's not put a ward. He's putting the ward down now, but he's not about to realize the Zed is coming up. I think he might well be dead. He's going to try and keep running. Throws down the Dark Procession, but JJ steps forward and gets auto down. Doesn't want to step up any further with the turret shots around, though. And actually does get out alive.
Yeah, he had ran out of damage though. His passive was gone and he used his cube. That's the burst damage that you have at that point. Once you get later, then your auto attacks are a little bit more worthwhile sticking around for. Level 6 hit by the Shy now. IG's jungle support though, more active, more early. Jip. Ooh, hang on a second. Not around save his top laner now though.
Both top laners now died trying to get the wave fully crashed. How many top laners have had to do that over the years?
That's annoying. So both top laners overstaying. Both of these players, of course, have an extensive history. Bin and the Shy have, for points in their career, been best top laner in the world.
Yeah.
Now, the Shy was probably a little while ago. Bin more recently, I think 23, 24. And the Shy has denied Bin a World's Finals in 2023. They've both had finals against each other now. Else left alone on weak side, that could be a problem.
Trying to clear out as much of this as he can. Gets a good dancing grenade off. Over comes Bay trying to try and defend this, but it's a 3-man versus 2. In comes the insane chain of CC, and Elk can't get the deadly flourish off. Garlic gets charged with the wall, but has a cleanse and will be swift enough to get out from danger.
Baytron was waiting a very long time there, thinking that they could outplay a little more. Elk blows both summoners and still dies, goes too close to the wall. And to add insult to injury, Mako ends up getting the double knockup, so Baytron can't even body block the last skill shot or whatever flying through. So it's another kill over to the side of IG, whose early activity has been impactful so far.
Much so. Done very well in this early game. Got themselves 500 or so gold lead, which is meaningful enough at this point in the game. A lot of that in the jungle, as you can see. 1 kill up. This Zed is going to be problematic the moment he hits that first item.
Worth noting, though. I mean, I look at the This isn't the easiest game, this set of champions to 1v1 on Zed. What you're looking to do is add in the extra amount of damage that Rumble needs to get that kill. You're probably not winning individual duels against most of these champions in terms of, like, actually getting the kill. You'll get good damage against them, but you won't kill them fully. Ari forever been one of the better matchups into Zed. You can wait for his ult to land behind you. You can charm as he lands. There's some magic you can do in terms of pressing your W, leaving a shadow on the ground, ulting, then immediately switching to your regular shadow to kind of play some smoke and mirrors. Unlikely for that to work most of the time. Next often use your shadow to gap close against a ranged champion. And stuff like the Jhin will be a little too far away from you. Let's be honest, you don't want to be in melee range of a Yorick. So let's see if, well, we'll see whether JJ could get some 1v1s later.
Give that attempt a go. Then wax the wave a bit more. Beidrouam also clear up those grubs. Mako might go a little deep here to clear out that ward. He's quite quick on the retreat, but hit by the deadly flourish. Crashdown comes on through, still no level 6. Out comes the Captain Warning, just not quite enough, and on does not quite go down until just a second or two. Mako finally surviving as well as Knight, nowhere to go. He's bricked up as well as JJ just comes away with a double. He's now 3-0.
JJ uses that first ult of the game, gets some huge kills there, as BLG not winning the early skirmishes is not a good sign for them. This is a team which needs their early skirmishes to go well. IG beating him in the early game is a great sign for them.
This Zed is so ahead of the curve at this point, and JJ, this is a player who was obviously famous for things like the Lee Sin. That's kind of out of meta. He's managed to make it work once or twice, but if he can pick up another AD skirmisher, something with a little bit of mobility and playmaking, maybe the Zed will do just fine.
Great backstep from Mako, using the heal to get the movement speed. Still gets CC'd anyway, but you know, a lot of damage is now gone after that point, and Elk needed to step up the extra auto attack. He needed to step up the extra auto attack if they were going to play like this. I guess they're afraid that Rookie was going to come in, but then the miscommunication is what really kills you then. JJ 2-0 on base Zed, on classic Zed skin, which is of course Faker's skin, as all of them are. He gets that Eclipse first back now. By the way, Eclipse, a bit of an underpowered item right now, but it doesn't really matter when you're this fed. The Conqueror, the Eclipse, allows you to stay into a place so long that he can be such a big threat.
Gonna put some vision down. JJ is there. Control ward is down. Should be quickly nabbed by the side of BLG. Overcomes the shadow. Shuriken tags on, but that's about it.
We'll see what JJ's build after this will be. Likely going to Black Cleaver, and then something like a Cyrilda's afterwards. This is the kind of game where actually you can go towards more lethality if you so wish. Dragon up and available. We do see IG has got mastery over these early matchups right now. Getting this Dragon early would be nice for them again. And real credit to IG. They've blowed up a lot over playoffs. As soon as you get this Dragon below half HP, your Zed passive starts to kick in, and you take it very, very quickly too. So not that much time spent by IG.
Blink and you miss it. Dragon goes down. Picks that one up. It's about the 10-minute mark. It's a little late for first Dragon in some ways, but still a nice one to pick up. JJ. On these Krugs. Knight spots him out with the ward. Tries to use the Orb of Deception to get some value there, but can't nab the big Krug.
The Zed passive, the reason why he's such a good shot, hang on a second, Shy has flash, probably forced to use it.
Deadly flourish, going to be interestingly sidestepped away from the Keeper's Verdict, comes on down, finally flash, and full shot goes wide. Mako now coming on up with a flash in front of the Shy, headbutt away, pull back, finally goes down. The turret shot won't claim on. Valiant effort. Are there any other TPs coming? No.
That was honestly pretty well played. The Ezreal ult, a last surprise.
That was an important crash down the Ferromancy shield required.
Good reactions there. BLG did get 3 grubs. They're using it onto the top tower. Good amount of gold across the side of BLG. The sole gold lead that I suppose matters support, I'm sorry, doesn't matter as much, is in that top lane matchup. Getting that extra gold onto the Yorick could be very important, especially with those 3 grubs. BLG have been very grub-focused throughout playoffs. He's given up a lot to get those. Again, has teleport. He's going to collect this wave onto town.
Look throughout some morning mists and last rites and hopefully clear this up. What time now into the Yorick has been? More comfortable champions.
He's very
I'm going to say he's not looking very comfortable at the minute, but a good flash away as Rookie takes turret shots and goes down. Knight has been ulting up the river, gets in range. JJ now in danger. Doesn't have the shadow to work because he used it under the turret. Important shutdown. That's Knight picking up the second. Can they find any more? The Foxfire comes on forward, but with the turret nearly dead, that will be first turret to BLG is a horror dive from Invictus Gaming.
You see what we mean about BLG. Their drafts don't always make sense, but they're sometimes good enough at their champions to make them work. Right there, Bin managed to get a huge dark procession, as you were saying, to catch out Rookie, who makes the mistake. Bin teleports bot side immediately and takes the 1v1.
Might make this happen. The Equalizer comes on down last right. He just gets the solo, the Shy. That's my goat, question mark?
The gold onto the Yorick has just exploded. And IG, despite the good early plays from jungle support, despite their good draft, BLG pull off some huge plays back to back. No, this is the dive which happened topside or just afterwards. Yes, the Rel ends up taking the Ezreal ult, but because the W shield survives just about. And then afterwards, the dark possession is so good. Stops the Alistar cleanly comboing. Locks Rookie under turret, who doesn't realize they're under threat until the very end of it. Not surprised by the turret damage. And Knight pulls the ult early. Very few Ahri players in the world pull that ult early to invest 2 ult charges to get into range. But of course, you know that they're on the retreat. He's safe to do so. Suddenly, Knight gets 2 Dark Seal stacks, fuels him towards a Malignant, and Bin gets so far ahead.
Hey, Poppy has a farm lead now. That's a scary thought. That shouldn't be happening, but here we are. And yeah, look, BLG's comp perhaps less cohesive, but it's still got a lot of mobility, a lot of skirmishing about, a lot of individual agency, and things like this can happen if you give players like this that ability to lock someone down for long enough to murder them.
And there's no hyper tank on the side of IG to stop you from running through the team as the Ahri or the Jhin later on as well. You know, if a little bit of CC lands and then the Charm follows and the Jhin throughout W follows after that point, then you have a lot of ability to clean up fights. JJ's on bot side, can he save the Shy? He doesn't have flash right now.
DP in, the Shy caught in the dark possession. BH1 zones off the Mumbers coming down the lane with the side of On. The Shy now trapped into the turret, gets the flame spin, a deadly flourish. It's not going to land because Poppy charges him out of it, but it does not matter. The Shy is dead regardless.
First 10 minutes of the game, not often been BLG's friend in this year. However, with the 3 grubs getting towards a couple of items when they can teleport across the map, make quick plays, they take another turret. IG will respond with its mid lane outer turret though.
It was an ignominious winter for Billy Gaming, but Base One has come on in, and on the moment I start to talk about BLG, it's not actually going to get caught, but they will get the tier 2 down here. But it does feel, since Base One has come along to this roster, they look a lot more like their old selves. Aggressive, domineering, looking to outplay with the strength of their hands and raw mechanical ability. Looking a lot cleaner on that front. Not perfect, we've seen some mid-game fumbles with big leads. We've seen the team lack variety, flexibility in terms of the ways they can play the game. But when they get rolling, when they get on the champions they know and love, this team is looking, again, very deadly here.
And just to focus in on Bageman as he's on screen and taking Herald as well, he's been doing his role. Now, do I think he's going to beat someone like JJ or Tarzan across the course of a series in terms of individual impact? No, but what he is meant to be is kind of a bit of glue, a bit of duct tape to make sure that the other players on BLG can play their mechanical best and just be on the same page. And you see players like this in the early game, right? Bageman is just there to make sure that the plays are happening on the same part of the map. And I do think that he's done his job well, given the failure in the jungle role of BLG just before this. IG giving up Herald, choosing to take bot lane outer turret, making sure that they're not falling too far behind in the structure game, and threatening Dragon as well with their vision advantage.
Shadow comes along, Herald drops in mid lane. Realistically, be a swift charge on him. It's the Poppy that goes on in there, so he's a little bit safer. Throws down the steadfast presence and keeps herself safe. Deadly flourish, sidestep by Gala. Dragon is up. Not been started yet by IG, but they've got an Annie waiting in the wings.
Really like how Mako's instincts have been working so far, trying to threaten that Herald dismount. The body blocks earlier. Mako, I think, on terms of his instinctual play, he's on good form.
Yeah, very
Such
good.
an important for IG. If he starts to int, they start to go down with him. Dragon's starting to get taken low.
Blitzcrank game earlier in the split. Oh, that's a weird interaction. The headbutt immediately keeps his verdict out. Dragon secure by the side of Invictus Gaming. In comes that death mark onto base one, but it allows the dodge away from the wall. Not a lot of damage, but the equalizer comes on down. Tags on a Knight. All the while, Bin on the backline looking at the Shy and JJ. Oh my days, those last rights hurt. The Maiden also there. You call him the Moiden, don't know why.
The Moiden.
Yeah, feeling very, very Brooklyn all of a sudden. As in they go, the other side. Mako, that's not instincts, that's just ruthless aggression. Knight now in danger, overcomes. Oh, but he's hit by a true shot barrage. Rookie gets the double. BLG looking to collapse, find something back here. Finding a decent double knock up again is Mako, but it knocks him out of the disintegrate. BLG needs to be on the retreat. As Baser on the backside can't quite get Gala in a 1 versus 4. Flashes over the wall, continue to run away. I think BLG don't lose another member despite what looked pretty dicey there for a second or two.
If Nymaera can manage to survive through to another round of cooldowns, perhaps IG would have lost that play, but it's Mako and Rookie shutting them down early under that turret. A good vision trap by them to catch them off in that mid lane inner turret. And IG are still even in gold despite the fact that they are down an extra turret compared to BLG. And a lot of that has been off of Rookie and Mako in that last play. We'll go back towards this mid lane as Rookie manages to charge up that Molten Shield. I guess they thought he was going to be off vision and not in a position to threaten them. Gets a great stun, which combos up with Mako.
And then they all come down and the fight commences, and it is all just knife fighting at that point. It's been a very, very back and forth early game. IG with the early lead, BLG bringing it back. IG then turning it back around again. We come into the mid game now. Dead even near enough in gold. Two Dragons who have gone IG's way, even if the Herald and Grub have gone to BLG.
Again, Mako, such a big player for IG in their wins. Often a big player in their losses too. The negative. On shares that kind of identity with him. Both of these players have had their ups and downs. And right here, we're seeing some of the best of Mako from this split in such an important series. Pushing towards the top side of the map. Dragon in 3 minutes, that's not up right now.
There was a point in this that we thought whether Mako was just straight up washed. I remember that Blitzcrank game. It was a 0-12 experience, which was certainly that. Just wide there on the Shide. Why?
The Shide?
Did I say the Shy? Did I say the Shide? I don't think I
believe, Sam, there was a little bit of a consonant.
I'm hoping there wasn't. Oh, that wasn't intentional. Oops. Clean my mouth out. Apologies.
He is at 0-4. It's like, my dude, just say it with your chest if you're gonna say it. He's had a rough game, but come on, first game of the series, give him some room to breathe.
He's not in this series. Breathers is here. He's
True, yeah.
The team, my friend.
In fact, IG beat them on the way here, and BLG beat IG, knocked them down to lower bracket, and they made their way through Weibo eventually down there. Pretty even game now heading in towards this mid game. 2 Dragons for IG is, of course, going to be a threat towards BLG. But the Yorick getting towards 2 items. IG don't have the cleanest way to stop Bin doing Bin things on the Yorick.
Dragon minute and a half away. 2 items indeed on that Yorick, as you were noting. That is a scary pair of items. Not a Sterex or anything yet right now, but the 1v1 skills are nasty. Will end up in melee range of a Zed. Will Shattering Strike will crash down away, so it won't lead to all that much right now. And the early lead of this Zed has kind of dwindled away, really, despite being 3-1.
So also worth noting, Knight Zari has been shut down in a couple of crucial early plays, so despite him being such a great player of the champion, IG have dealt with him quite well. They've got a good draft to deal with an Ari, with a good CC. Wow, just explode on.
That'll do. On just disappears to the combo of the Annie, the Incinerate, Disintegrate, and all the other 8s lead to a very dead horse who is now metallic glue.
On just being supportive in this game so far. Mako's so much more impactful than the Rel. The Ascon is up even if the Dragon isn't, and BLG may have to fight this in a 4v5.
Trying to do it. Elkoff on one angle, looking to potentially pull the curtains on this particular show. Knight on the bottom end of this. In comes with a TP from Bin, looking to commence as well. Down at half HP is the Attica. Mako again body blocking. Charm wide, not landing. Keep his verdict swung up. doesn't use it. Atakan secured. I'm getting confused between my objectives. BH1 though, caught out by the death mark, goes down as Garlic gets that one. On the other side, Charm lands onto the Charm. He's got the flames that are rolling. Elk picks it up with the curtain call. Bin low, trying to land the morning mist, gets the last right one, leaning into all that much. Knight needs to run away. Mako on top of him, gets the trample proc, gets shielded though by He's gone back into this one. The Charm, the crash down will keep people alive. They lose 2 for 1. But Atakan is also picked up by Invictus Gaming, a significant win for them.
It is. BLG, you know, trade 1 for 1 or 1 for 2 around the objectives. So they're losing just across the board now in this early game. BLG have had some great moments, but occasionally they get a little bit lost in the sauce. When it comes down to the specifics of Dragon setup, a Vision Control, moving around the map, they're the ones getting caught out by IG, who are more ready to find those quick picks out of Fog of War, especially with Rookie Zanny with that point-and-click CC. Third Dragon quickly going up to IG, no contest.
Yeah, that one's a little rough. The mid lane we go on, flashing on in. Deadly Flourish Knight so low. Burning up to a shot barrage is just wide. The burn of the Leandries Malignus won't quite kill him. But Tibbs is really fast. The Malignus burns of the Leandries. He goes down.
He goes down as the extra speed boost comes in.
The Molten Shield.
The Molten Shield ends up getting that damage. Elk needed to do extra damage to the Tibbers. Doesn't respect it. Elk gets Knight killed.
Oh, Beishwan now in danger. Needs to run away. He's going to lose his tier 2. Oh my days, that Annie. I've not seen a Tibbers get a speed boost like that in a little while. Remember, guys, Molten Shield also empowers Tibbers.
It does. It absolutely huge there from Rookie. Rookie having an awesome game on the Annie, shutting down Knight's Ahri across the early plays in the game. And you can see now that BLG, the panic and the desperation is starting to set in a little bit. There's a soul point against them. They're not winning on their comfort champions. Ahri is behind almost 2,000 gold, you know, who I consider to be the best Ahri in the world in Knight. But, you know, you look here again, just not getting... not getting the plays which he wants to. I think the Charm ends up getting blocked by Tibbers. He's happy to trade CC for CC. You can see right here, you know, after a while, Elk stops DPSing the Tibbers, and he puts that last auto attack just a little too late. If he'd end up just continue auto attacking that Tibbers, would have ended up saving the Ahri, but chooses not to do so.
That is mental, and you can see the fans in the audience absolutely elated. Remember, Invictus Gaming all split long have had such an incredible fan base support, everyone combining to watch this team of legends on a legendary team finally come and succeed here. It's got to feel good. BLG though, we're on the rise. Might yet find ways back into this game. It's only a 2,000 gold difference. The difficulty will be is they've really got one final roll of the dice, or Baron or Soul comes along, and things get increasingly tricky for BLG.
Yeah, Elk has himself 2 items. This is a game which a Jin can do a lot of work in. Beichuan and Bin choosing to go towards the flashless Annie instead of clearing out that ward. Of course, Rookie using his flash as well throughout this series, as this game so far. All of them have been
Feels
fairly
like
heavy. But besides the top lane where he flashed away and died anyway. That was the one time where it was less useful.
We can't all be perfect, you know?
Yeah.
Like me.
That's chat can decide that. Dragon.
Remember who
Dragon's up in Dragon's up in 2.5 minutes. That's the next big thing, really. Would be Mountain Soul in the next few minutes. And I think IG, they've been much better at setting up for the objectives. They've been much better at finding the quick picks out of Fog of War. BLG have occasionally found those kind of mistakes from IG to pounce and make a big play, but this is what BLG have been playing more like this year. They're not as confident in the map setup. They're not as confident as playing together as an overall unit, and that's often left 1 or 2 members without the support that they would have had maybe in the last year.
Mecha understands the assignment. Thank you for the praise there. Absolutely unforced. See, I managed to get chat on my side as well, Alex.
Potential pick in the river here, Mako.
Does manage to get a big amount of damage onto On, who does manage to crash down away from that as Heavy First comes on down. Now Mako then forced to ult to get out of the CC.
Good that he ults early though. If you ult late there, you regret it. Rookie now off the Vision. Rookie, one of the best players playing around Fog of War. There's no cleanse on Elk.
Oh, flash on in, and Tibbers says hello to the side of Elk.
Exactly what we were talking about the setup. IG, much better at the Vision play, much better at the objective setup, and this time it's Elk that's caught out, doesn't see the Annie quick enough, doesn't flash. BLG in a 4v5 around the Baron.
H1 trying to find an angle, does have the flash, is very hard to deny. eye on this Poppy, trying to walk his way around and find an angle in. Rookie going to try and ward him
giving it up.
All the while, look at Bin in the picture-in-picture. Gets the inhibitor turret. Might be able to get the inhibitor as well. Decides going to get the Raptors and look to run away. There's Mako buying some time. Gets hit by the hammer chop. On also coming on down. Knight in the mid lane, shoving up the turret. Gets charged into the wall. BLG actually playing the map pretty well for a bad scenario. Get the turret down there. Get the inhibitor in the enemy base. And still get to back towards the dragon and set up for vision.
Yeah, and they'll need to set up that vision minute until that dragon, and BLG have, by and large, been outplayed by IG on a vision control and a macro standpoint. IG get themselves to, you know, a bunch of gold before that. We'll see whether that fuels them through into 3 items. See, that Bin is actually going a little bit more tanky for his 3rd item in that unending despair. Typically because Annie's actually very good at killing Yorick. Just blows him up before he can get any of the regen through with that Q. With that in mind, I'm surprised he didn't go towards something like a Hex Drinker or something like that instead. And even though BLG got those towers, they're late towards the objective, 20 seconds in, chose to recall and spend their gold. Suppose you have to, but it means they're late on the setup now.
But if you get the shot through mid, that's something. Into the back and goes Bedron, could hop away from Gala with these Mystic shots coming through afterwards. Now Knight on the side looking for an angle. The Equalizer comes down. It's not fantastic, but it's just about tag L. Damage already onto Alva. They turn it around onto Rookie. The double pulverize again. Massive value from Mako in the backline as Knight and L try to find an angle. The Shy flashes on in. The barbecue is rolling. Knight slowed down by those harpoons. Knight's got nowhere to go. The Orbit Deception will at least pick up one. Flash for the headbutt pole. And Mako will secure the kill.
And it'll get them the Mountain Soul too. BLG, even though that they found a counterplay to the Baron, it left them late towards the Dragon setup. And IG was so ruthless at going towards the kills afterwards. There was a decent combo there from Bin and Knight getting onto the first target. Beitran forcing out the E from the Ezreal early, but it just wasn't enough at that point. IG's team comp is much easier to play in the 5v5s than BLG. They've not been good enough individually to make this work. Knight behind a huge amount of gold. Elk struggling with his position, caught out very easily on the Jhin as well. He's had a very difficult game, and IG have picked up the mistakes and turned them into teamfight wins.
Trying to jump on a Gala there, but that is a wonderful arcane shift. And they get to play the fight out from beyond that point.
Yeah, but just where's the follow-up damage, you know? I mean, I think that Knight does a great job here, skips out of the Equalizer, but Mako just starts body blocking the charms. Bin gets some value down, but then ends up in a 1v3. He needs to be the guy who's got the cleanup damage towards the end of the fight. And then Elk, of course, misses the misstep there. He gets taken down. At least Knight gets one back here again onto the Shy. It's been a difficult game for BLG in the team fights. IG have been so clutch at getting that first damage down in the team fights.
Victor's Gaming, this is a red side game as well. They did a lot of that in their last series, but they are very, very potent looking in the Shy. Again, for a player who was 0-5, somehow, someway, he's always relevant, isn't he?
Yeah. And on the other side, though, you know, credit to Knight, actually. Very far behind in individual gold. Most damage on his team in that team fight. Did very well at getting some damage down. It's just that his team is so far behind at this point. He is so far behind. Can't get that one shot in the way that he normally would. And in fact, Beitran caught out here.
Oh boy, they're going to get rocked low. The Death Mark will proc, won't quite kill him, but now Mako splitting him off, and Beitran can run towards Bush, but there's a ward waiting, and a Mystic Shot comes on through. BLG, the picks just aren't landing. The damage isn't there, and I don't think realistically it's ever going to have a chance to come in.
We might be living in a world where IG make it through BLG. First game, often not the best way to view things with a fearless draft, but still, IG playing well here. BLG suffering on blue side, which has been the strongest side in playoffs.
Hey, it's BLG. They always need a game to wake up. Remember those old stories? Always the 3-1s of the first game being the loss. Perhaps the BLG faithful. That's what's going on. For IG, they're just laughing their way to the bank. Inhibitors under siege. Flash from Knight. Lands the charm on the read. Trying to get the kill after, but Gala's just too tanky with the locket behind him. They can't really damage. Knight loses more HP hitting Gala with all his skill shots than if he didn't.
There's just no follow-up damage. Gala has 0 damage to follow up. Great charm flash from Knight. Catches out Gala without the cleanse. That's the kind of play which might turn things around if there were more follow-up damage. But even though Elk has 3 items, he's 3,000 gold down against Gala, who's then had a magnificent game on the Ezreal, constantly hopping and skipping his way out of fights. And sadly for BLG, the Yorick for Bin has not been able to carry them out on a macro sense out of this game.
2 attempted interrupts don't quite work out. We'll make it a third. No, on won't walk over to the banana bush. Ends up being BLG in such a terrifying position. They've got the Mountain Soul, they've gotten the base broken, they got the first Baron. you really can't ask for much more in a game like this from Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, for sure. I think Mako's been fantastic as well. IG, the whole team performance has been very solid here today. I think their draft was better than BLG's, despite the fact that those comfort champions were there, and that has always been a worry for BLG. It was, you know, even in their era of dominance in last year, there were questions saying, well, okay, we'll let you get away with it because you're good enough to make this work. They are now no longer good enough to make this kind of draft work. You know, Bin's not taking his gold lead and making it a win condition. Elk is not having these crazy clutch team fights. Baytran, he's not there to be the main carry. He's meant to just make sure that these other players shine. And if they're not holding up their end of the bargain, it's not like he's going to. He's not going to be the JJ, Tarzan, Kanavi that can carry you out of the pit in the same way that other top jungles and top teams can do.
With the Poppy as it is, nearly a death cap on the eye. You got the Infinity Edge done on the Jhin, but you've not got any penetration yet in any of these builds. And when you're getting some of those defensive items going through, Rookie's picked up a Medjais for God's sake. You're getting to this point where, with the Mountain Soul behind people, with Mako throwing down Lockets, you don't have the burst anymore to actually kill anyone.
IG, Mountain Soul, of course, giving them so much value as you were talking about there. Baron spawning now, Bear Elder in 2 minutes, so there's a nice non-overlap. Yorick is pushing up in bot side, but he's not doing anything quick enough to threaten the inhibitor in a timing that would actually be a problem. Now, JJ is very good with his smite keep, needs to be here again. I think the only way that BLG get back into this game now is a Baron steal. Rookie on Fog of War, as he so often is, threatens them, and there's no steal to be found.
BLG try and get some wave shoved. Yorick should be able to at least get the wave up to the inhibitor. I don't think he'll be able to stick around and take it, but at least the wave being shoved helps keep BLG a little alive. But IG very swift to just walk down mid lane. There's a GA on Gala. They want to end this here. They want to end it now.
That GA, alongside the extra HP he gets from the Shojin and the Triforce and the Mountain Shield on top of it, it's very hard to kill this Ezreal. And you can't allow this Ezreal to be alive. He does way too much damage. Death cap completed for Knight. He does have some damage. The Charm just wide there. Behind 3 levels to Gala. Level 15 to level 18. I mean, just look at the XP difference.
He's
it's
3
absurd.
levels of Knight. Like, you
I just said that.
Yeah. You're using Gala as well, right? So it's just a massive deal. It's like everyone doing so much work here to get the insane value as Gala and Rookie continues to put an insane amount of damage. The try follows up with the equalizer. Big Keeper's verdict for a moment or two, but Baytran in the 1v1 with Mako is losing to the support. That's the kind of game we're at. Inhibitor turret under siege. The final one remaining. It will be Tutorial League of Legends. Invictus Gaming want to make sure that BLG know exactly what they're up against. One of the old gods awakening in the form of this squad. Finally, the Legends march their way towards the Nexus. They'll at least get one. Don't know whether they'll actually be able to end the game. I was waxing lyrical. BLG hold the line somehow.
No, JJ goes into melee range, gets wall stunned, and Baytran, the hero of the base defense, gets a really big play in defending the Nexus with his ultimate and the wall stun. Means that BLG have another race alive. And hang on a second, JJ's dead for 40 seconds.
Oh no.
Elder Dragon is up. Now, I don't know if they can actually go towards the Elder because the Nexus turret to bear. If BLG have managed to defend the base and somehow get towards an Elder contest, that is insanity. There's a teleport into the base. IG say, if you go towards the Dragon, you will lose the game. Someone else needs to recall.
Gala is here. Rookie's backing away suddenly. You got 15 seconds on JJ respawning or so.
IG playing the Smoke and Mirrors. Now, it's a problem that they've had to play Smoke and Mirrors in the last bit, but the teleport in from Rookie, threatening enough, and as Rookie does, one of the best players at playing out of Fog of War in the entire world. Good damage from BLG in that last fight. For once, saw them through to an important power points. They have given up their option to take the Elder out. They don't want to play that far into enemy vision. They don't want to leave their Nexus turrets unattended. Now, Nexus turrets do respawn, it's worth noting.
We might have an Udyr, but we still got an Annie. Eat the bear slap on. Out comes Tibbers. Over the wall comes Knight. Does find a decent angle, but it's only onto the Raptor. He hits the charm. And now the Shy gets just run through the backline and pick up a double. JJ gets another, and BLG, desperate in their need to contest, can find nothing but defeat.
IG dominant in this first game. Some early game worries as it went back and forth, but IG clearly better in vision, clearly better in objective setup, and clearly better at the team fights.
They will finally secure the win, dot the I's, cross the T's, and hammer a few nails in the coffin. Invictus Gaming in 35 minutes win game 1.
Last time they met, BLG 3-0'd IG from red side. IG have just given BLG their first loss, also from that red side. The assumed weaker position within this playoffs, and BLG are given a worry. Those are some powerful champions for them, the Yorick and the Ahri especially. That's a very worrying sign. They just bombed out to Anyone's Legend. It was 5 games, but they did end up losing against a team which, yes, are very good, but BLG was still assumed to be finalists. They looked so good on their path towards the top of the playoffs. Now IG, a team that's been ramping up slowly over time, gives them another thing to be scared about.
And I remember in the middle of the split, when there were some of those games, when Victor's game, and we had our head in our hands, where they were doing things like the Blitzcrank game, the one we keep coming back to, where they draft this Blitzcrank and then the draft doesn't work, Maker goes 0-12. It's an embarrassment from these players who are supposed to be some of the best in the region. We were discussing privately, look, do we even have elite supports anymore? Hell, have we got elite laners in the way we need anymore? It's not been looking pretty, and suddenly these players, as players rolling around, it does feel like the pieces are starting to click together, and we are starting to get some squads which look dangerous once more, and Invictus Gaming, certainly one of the premier examples of that.
Alright, well, I assume that LCK started again, but if you'd like to have some LPL in the background, why not do it here as well? We do this off our own backs, no one's paying us to do this, but you with exposure bucks. So hope you enjoy some LPL today, as we have 2 MSI representatives decided between LCK and LPL
a lot being decided
today, which is really, really cool.
Alex,
yes?
I might run and make myself a coffee.
You go do that.
We'll be back in a second.
Yeah. Okay, shall we wait for some... Let's wait for some highlights. What was that fight, Jane? I don't have the game on. I should have the game on in the background, shouldn't I? I mean, I've not seen Nymaera shut down like that, ever, I don't think. That was very well played from IG. He's just not been handling the... I think that Rookie's making a mistake in his runes, where I think that he needs to be taking bone plating against the Annie to lane more effectively. This is what happened in 2023. Yeah, Rookie was insane. Really well played from Rookie. I thought this game was lost from draft. No, I think the draft was better from IG. I just think it was comfort picks from BLG. But unlike 2024, no, Bin was invisible on the Yorick. He pushed a little bit, but he was invisible. On achieved very little on the well. Beithrom's probably their best player, you know? Yeah. And that means that, you know, it's very easy to just throw CC at the RE. The Jhin did very little. Wait, is actually beating Genji right now? It's insane. Now we wait for MVP. I reckon it's Maker, could be Rookie. Rookie wants his first international since 2019, man. He wants it. I did not run. Yeah, I mean, there were some bits in the early game where they were mega running it. Like, the Shy got caught out a lot. Yeah, now the question is, can they do that again? Very even split in the votes. It was between Maker and Rookie, which makes sense. That's what I would have given a vote towards Maker. I think he was insane, but Rookie on the Annie was crucial to their quick picks. And his play around Fog of War is absurd. Like, if you watch a POV of him playing the actual champions, very, very good at just finding those gaps and making plays around them. Rookie gets MVP. Hey. And I'm surprised with that. We can play some words on screen.
You want to go get yourself a coffee or anything?
Yes, I do. Alright, well, you know the drill, folks. If you're on Twitch, you can do this there, and otherwise you can go sign in by QR code. Okay, leave it to boom.
Yeah. Oh, I got coffee. I got Alex. I got LPL. Life's pretty good. What's going on in the? What's going on in LCK as well? Are we in game there? What? I saw the first game was a winner. Oh my god. Oh, it's all spicy out here. Are they getting clapped again by Viper? Oh my day. Is Elysia a word? Elysia. Elysia should be a word. It's a great sounding word. Oh, it's a Camille game as well. How exciting. Do I move this? I probably do, actually.
关闭车窗，空气要调到22度。好的，都搞定了。你好，很高兴我们重新认识。
Shy into, but dealt so much damage. Yeah, that's often his way. The Shy refuses to give up a way. basically, and he will always decide if I'm happy to die as long as I trade a hell of a lot of damage doing it. He doesn't really care about dying. Because his kind of mantra basically is, as long as I do damage on my way out, as long as I can get wave control, particularly top lane. Like we saw Bin die early on because trying to get the wave shoved in, despite knowing that JJ was in the river. He knew what was going on there, but he wanted to get that wave shoved because if otherwise it was going to get frozen against him. And he needed that wave shoved.
There you are.
Oh my days, HLE are smashing Genji. Are we going to Genji? HLE but go to 2-0 Genji. This is wild.
向无情的猎手献上礼赞。
Correct, says Baby Scorpio, for a word. Oh my. Didn't get banned in chat for that one, did you? That's useful.
我们这个赛季的，就是已经打了5个比5嘛，然后我觉得最大的收获应该是我们的状态，因为是通过比赛慢慢的有改变嘛，因为训练赛其实改变不了多少。
Hello there, Rocky.
要实战中我们要就是得到一些东西，所以我们这BO5。
So you managed to get free feet and erect as part of as a legitimate word to this word on stream.
得到一个东西嘛，然后能做到现在。然后最让我印象深刻的比赛的话，我觉得目前应该是没有的。我觉得每一场都很重要。我想BLG说 IG 是创造奇迹的队伍，所以我觉得无论什么结果，我希望我们是要得到一些东西。如果拿下的是最好，但是我觉得BLG也是很强的对手嘛，所以我希望我们整个 IG 要尽力，然后有竞赛的发挥吧。
Ah, C was the lie. Don't have any Vipers in this trade. Do you not? Huh. Officially 2-0 for GJ of HLE. Wow. That's wild. Excluding your PM. Wow, Trinity. Little bit of New Zealand smugness coming out there. Not really wrong per se, but there we go. Viper and superior pick comp. Viper's just sometimes better, isn't he? Nice work. Probably time to put this down. Hello. Italy at 2-0.
Oh. That's something. Surprised that it's happening like now of all times, really. Just because Genji have been so
good.
dominant.
I know.
Apparently, Canyon did Jovi's trying his best, but you know,
Some members are having interesting experiences.
Canyon's had like a 4v5 jump in while they were super far ahead, which threw the game in game 1, and you know. Anyway, welcome back, folks. And but if BLG ain't isn't an MSI, then Caedrel's gonna have a field day. Why? Does he not like
Invictus Gaming?
No. But like that was like a if BLG on an MSI. Like is that because he doesn't like BLG or So I thought he was like I thought he liked Bin at least. Because Bin's a fun player.
He is a fun player.
Yeah.
You know who else is a fun player? Don't know. I didn't actually answer that. I was gonna throw the sentence out and try and finish it on the fly, and I didn't. So now we're here in this really awkward moment.
I thought you were gonna just say me.
Yeah, I did think about doing that.
You've done that a little bit too much. You know?
Yeah, I didn't want to be too predictable.
Draft for our second game, starting now. BLG, once again, presumably on that blue side. Invictus Gaming taking a game off for them, though, while they're on red. And, well, BLG will have to rally somehow. Same bans as the first for BLG. Varus and Trundle. Other side, though, Kalista was banned later into the draft by IG last time.
It does feel like the heavy priority on Kalista fallen away just a little bit. Saw a lot of teams really indexing into it, and then felt like a few teams went, actually, unless you're really, really good at this, the guaranteed win really isn't there. But Elk probably is one of the better Kalista players, especially when it empowers on the way it does. On the side of it, though, they're getting rid of the Varus, the Trundle, the Nidalee, IG specials, all in all. There's the Talia as one of the big globals and a night special. Immediate first pick of the Gwen, though. The Rumble was out last game, and BLG will pick up the Gwen for this one.
I was wondering whether it was going to be more something like a tank top lane angle, but the Gwen instant pick. The Shy's happy laning with this, though. He played out into, I believe it was Breathe. He was playing the Gwen the last time out.
Yeah.
Destroyed lane on it. JJ goes towards the Wukong as well, so now you have very good AoE diving combo. Very quick draft, though, as BLG also have some dive now. We have 4 melees locked in out of 5 picks so far.
And of course, Sejuani with double melee solo lanes is always going to be a potent option. You've got mixed damage here between AP and AD. Looking to go for the Jax then into this, so going to an old school answer-ish into the Gwen, which when she was first released, basically said Jax can fight you in the Thunderdome, use the Counter-Strike. It's a skill matchup to an extent.
The Jax, as far as I'm aware, is one of the best matchups in the game to Gwen right now. As in, like, if you're going to look to beat the Gwen as purely 1v1, Jax is what you use. Like, that's the winning matchup. Now, there is questions about value to the team. Gwen can still have value throwing the needlework across a couple of people. What this does mean is the Aurora is locked into mid lane. I like that IG picked that on 2-3, basically saying, okay, it's fine into the Gwen. If there's an answer into mid lane, we can chuck it there too. And then could flex it into the mid lane after seeing it was a fine matchup and also get a good matchup for the Jax. I think the Aurora's fine into Yone individually too. BLG, you know, again, you can argue there's comfort picks for them. Beitron, arguably his best champion is the Sejuani, and Bin, his Gwen is very, very notorious. But IG, I think, have got answers for them.
They really do, don't they? Here comes the support bands now. Looking to pick up what they can here. Realistically, I think we're looking at things like the Astra and the Religon. Rakan might be an option here. Xayah, Rakan in general into something like the Gwen and Sejuani and the likes could be pretty valuable, and they'll ban that away as well as something that On really likes. And are we going to continue pinching the support pool?
Go towards an AD carry like a Xayah, or I suppose Ezreal's already gone, so you don't have to do that. Something which is more like
Kai'Sa maybe.
Survival. Yeah, Kai'Sa's not bad in there too. In terms of something that can. Well, I mean, I think either team could have actually gone towards that kind of pick either as well. You're looking for things like AD carries that can survive the play. Lucian, fairly mobile, would have been lane dominant. I mean, I think that's more about the lane dominance than the survivability. Lucian still gets shut down by these champions quite easily.
It also narrows Mako's champion pool by kind of virtue of it. Well, you don't get to pick the Nami quite so quickly, for example. Mako, obviously one of the better Nami players in the world. Leona, though, there's few remaining big engaged support options up and available. Be a good pairing with things like the Wukong and the Jax. You can set them up very well for success with that, and would also be a decent takeaway from there.
Good hard CC as well. to kind of combo up with the rest of the melees, pin them in place for them. BLG, what do you go towards now? Do you go towards something like a Xayah without the Rakan? Do you play something more heavy CC?
Okay.
The Kai'Sa for Elk, obviously a powerful champion for him too. On doesn't have the Nautilus, doesn't have the Alistar, doesn't have the Rel. What would you go with it at that point?
I'm trying to think here. Shen would be a wild pick. We've seen a little bit of it. Again, it is on. He's known for things like the Elise, so having some weirder bits in the back pocket. He's been quite competent on them. Wait and see what exactly he decides to do. So locked in.
So the Shen is very good into the Leona because you can block later on into the game the Shield of Daybreak.
Yeah.
You have the Spirit's Refuge, which stops auto attacks. One, going to be great against Wukong. Two, going to be great against Jax as well after his counter strike is down. But it stops the CC coming through from Leona's Q. Gala now has a chance to pick in something like that Xayah, which I think is really good. You are against, again, a quad melee team for BLG. And that will stop... yeah, that will stop a lot of the threat for BLG diving in if Gala plays well.
And I mean, like, not to put too fine a point, the other non-melee player is Kai'Sa, who, you know, does like to kind of dive in to join the melee. She kind of gets jealous of everyone else getting to punch people and goes, well, I can ult in too. So it's like, you've kind of got like an honorary melee there in the Kai'Sa as well.
So Sejuani's eaten good with the synergies. Gives you a lot of CC. I do think that IG with the Wukong, with the Jax, if things get into a meat grinder, I actually think IG win out on this. I think Aurora is very good with their ultimate, just kind of slamming down on people. If BLG finds someone out of position first, though, I think this game goes south very quickly for
That
IG.
pick is ridiculous,
So
yeah.
once again, I think BLG, as we've seen from all of this playoffs, they're looking for early skirmishes to go their way. Last game, and in their losses to anyone's legend, they were losing early skirmishes, and they were losing games off of that. BLG must be more on point with their early fights.
A lot of tools and a lot of trigger pulls to jump on people from so many different angles between your Sejuani and your Yone and your Shen, with 4 excellent buses to decide to go on depending on what route you want to take. You can definitely put the Stand United on a lot of great targets. So you've definitely got tools to get things rolling.
Into our second game of the series then, BLG were favourites coming into this, but IG have been ramping up. I don't think it was by a crazy margin that they were favoured. Now we have IG taking a win on that red side, giving BLG pause for thought, and BLG, perhaps their confidence can be rocked. BLG, not always the best game one team on the other side though. It takes them a while to wake up. They did use a lot of their power picks in that wake up phase though. That might come to sting them later in the series.
Someone close to the camera yelling IG at random intervals, which is fantastic. But I think it ended up with an extra IG chant as a result. A fake chant leader in the crowd. The hype is real.
The JDG Stadium, which is of course where playoffs is being held, is large enough that sometimes you need like different crowd chances for different parts of the crowd, because there's a lot of crowd to cover. I missed the JDG crowd chant leader. Ding dong. Ding dong. But yeah, speaking of JDG, I think that brings up a very important point, and perhaps something which IG can be a part of as well, in terms of the history that they're making. JDG and Top Esports are not part of the LPL top 4 for the first time in 7 years.
Oh my god.
Since 2018, the last time that that Top Esports and JDG were not part of that, rookie looking to threaten with a twofold hex. Will do so there. Good play. Can get himself the electrocute afterwards. Nice.
Straight there. The changes to the twofold hex, so it automatically recalls. There's a nice touch on that one. Definitely a nice quality of life there. Helped me out. I always pushed it a little bit too far with that one. Going to step on forward, try and fight over the bush. Not quite sure what he leveled up first. We'll wait and see.
It was the Q. You could see the Q.
Yeah, he's got the knife behind
well,
him.
so that's actually there regardless of what you level up,
okay.
Funny enough. So that's actually not the best way to check it.
That's me being wrong.
So what that was, Sam, was on screen, as you were talking about it, the sword flew across the screen. That was actually the indicator of what was
not even joking, I was looking down at the bottom left corner of the screen to see whether it would come up. I was trying to be too clever about it.
Yeah. Discovering why the Aurora is not such a nice matchup for the Yone in that mid lane. The Shy pushing beyond top side as well. Very good wave clear early with the counter-strike, allowing you to dip off a lot of the damage too.
Is it going to be the AP, Jax? Has Baus infected the LPL?
I don't think so.
Are you sure? I mean,
Yeah,
could it not be AP, Jax?
Given that only Baus plays that worldwide. No. And what was a really fun... He's not the first AP Jax player ever, actually. There was a... Oh, good route there. Elk, my dude.
Flashes away, gets out. Nice taunt from On, keeps him alive, but it's a double summoner's down. And now On's in danger. He's going to need to back away, gets stunned up as he flashes. Ignite On down. Xanaslay comes on forward, and On will pay for his AD carry's life.
Elk, another huge mistake. He has been really struggling for BLG this split and this year. A lot of people have good memories of Elk and his 1v3s and stuff like that, with his Ezreal performances at Worlds. On the other side of that coin, if you hadn't watched Elk regionally, maybe you missed Elk suffering as well individually at points with his own inconsistencies. Beidchuan walking across mid lane, trying to get a good... Oh, this is like GQ kill! Knight just goes down, solo kill for Rookie!
It's all going wrong again. Another early game from Invictus Gaming where they just blast people in individual moments.
The Yone locked in, and the Aurora switched into mid lane. Knight maybe sticking around. One more minion would have gotten him level 4. He was partway through his W animation, would have gotten that shield. Rookie gets an easy kill onto Knight, who has not looked himself this series either.
Well, well, well. Rookie, a player who had a middling split. Across the split, he was probably the quietest member of Invictus Gaming on average. Come into playoffs and he's just ramped up and locked in and looked deadly again. It's a player who at one point, people were rightly debating whether he might even be the BOAT, the best of all time, the person to peak at the highest mechanical level in the world at some point, just the Shy. Right back with the counter-strike.
And Rookie, importantly so, I mean, doing this against Knight, who has been the best player in the LPL for a number of years now. This guy has been so insane. And I think that Knight has been 1v9 for the grand majority of this split. You know, I think his first game wasn't on him, really. I still think that, you know, given how far behind he was on the Ahri, he actually did a very good job considering his position within that game. BLG as a whole, the vibes are off again. We thought that Beidchuan coming in had survived, had helped turn that around, but perhaps the honeymoon period is over. On has Hex Flash, but I can't step onto vision like that quite so easily though.
The night of the honeymoon has ended and the light has come on up and started revealing some of the cracks with the new dawn. Mixing my metaphors a little bit, but I hope it worked. Either way, the point being that BLG need to stabilize here a little bit. It's not out of range right now, but the Shy again just finding a way to hop over the wall. He's got that ward in that tri-brush, gets to come on over. Beidchuan's around, but I don't actually know how free it would be to come fight this. Goes over with the Arctic Assault, and then the Shy just leaves with the control ward and goes, yep, I'm happy enough.
But Beidchuan is still stopping the proxy coming through. So Counter-Strike's coming up not too far away.
Here's the Winter's Flail. Does he want to hop back in on this one? No, we'll decide to reset.
Yep.
Happy enough with it.
So what Beidchuan makes the right decision here. Stops the proxy being successful, which means that Bin, who already has a CS advantage, and he gets to deny some minions over towards the Shy, maybe set up a freeze. This could actually be a game-changing play for BLG. The bot lane losing in the 2v2, Elk making a big mistake, Knight solo killed in mid lane, big mistake from him. At least top lane goes well. BLG have a winning lane to have to use.
Alois out there somewhere screaming about fundamentals, because normally in a 1v1 you clear that wave and the wave is forced to crash into Bin, so you get to reset, go pick it up as it crashes back into you, keeps you safe. You then get to potentially freeze on the other side as Honor is flashed into the
Yes, the Spellbook Smite! Spellbook Smite!
He's trying to steal it away, needs to go back over the wall. I definitely needed to check out the Spellbook on there, thank you for the call. I wonder what the madness was about, and that's it.
That was the, yeah, that was the plan for IG. Discipline, delay the dragon for a little bit, and On just slides the way back over, of course using that Spirit's Refuge to stop any auto attacks coming in. Beidchuan going into the enemy jungle now. Knight getting hit by another twofold Hex. Rookie laning very well this series versus Knight so far. Raptor takeaway going to be confirmed by Beidchuan now.
Beidchuan doing his best to be obnoxious here, gets jumped on. Level 6 on this Wukong.
He didn't get all the Raptors. He didn't get all of them. If he gets all of them, he gets level 6. That could actually be a problem now if JJ wants to go for a flash Cyclone, but with top lane pushing in, Beidchuan will be spared that.
Doesn't quite get what he was looking for. Should get it, I think. I say if he had anything to look at, and I can't quite see any camps up, I think he'd have to go all the way over to the red buff to pick it up, and with Grubs in 45 seconds, I don't think you can afford to come into a fight like that without 6 up.
You could also go in the mid lane and leech off a couple of minutes there. Raptors respawn.
Yeah, that's fine.
So he had options available to him. It's not like the grubs had spawned just yet. 30 seconds till then, so you had a little bit of time to recoup. Gone for a ton of ruby crystals on his first back, wanting that extra HP. Jumping forward. Knight in a bit of trouble now.
Fake seal doesn't get him that far away. Should be able to walk out though nonetheless. Rookie in danger on the other side. Both mid laners being attacked by their opposite bot lanes.
Yeah, Ignite dropped onto both mid laners too, so both teams having the same theory there. Probably not going to cancel Rookie's recall. Backed off far enough that he was outside of the Prey Seekers or the Void Seekers radius. Grubs not being focused on by BLG for once. Very often they will be the ones to hard force on towards Grubs, but not hit. IG the one's going to get that this time. Batron has level 6. He's heading towards the top side because he's cleared out his bot side camps. We're not really looking for a contest.
Reset. Potentially about to come on through. Does.
Oh, now with bot lane spotted going down there, Batron should get at least the last one. Jeja just... well, I don't think IG want to stick around for a fight. I mean, they've got the 2 already. Jeja has no flash. You're not fighting for the last one. But you're absolutely right. That's Stand United online. For another play, yes, that could be relevant. Very, very relevant. Of course it is. It's Shen.
Well, either way, Grubs go 2 for 1. IG happy enough with that one. They get the early dragon and the other objective marker with the 2 Grubs as well. You've got yourself a Jax, of course, who does love his Grubs, so feels pretty good. And even Aurora, right, with her own mobility, is not a bad side laner on that front either, even if, of course, Yone and Gwen, pretty hard to beat in a side lane in their own right.
BLG. Early laning phase, not what they wanted. Behind in mid and bot lane. Top lane doing well, considering the fact that Jax is meant to be the winning matchup into the Gwen. It's not actually meant to be much of a skill matchup. It's meant to be Gwen, you just suck it up and try and get some value later. The Jax just beats you because your cooldowns not enough to contend with that counter-strike as it jumps in. But Bin is actually ahead very far because of the efforts of Batron.
Gonna step on forwards, look for Rookie, but he's swift enough on the retreat there, still has the ability to go across the veil, so pretty hard to lock down the Aurora at this point. Batron hasn't really found an angle yet in this early game, despite the double melee solo laners, and that's been a bit problematic. Just in general, BLG have had a bit of a tempo lack in this early game.
How is he meant to look for options when his lanes are losing?
Yeah.
That would be my response to that. And actually, I'd say, I think he's done a very good job for top lane. You know, he stopped that proxy coming through. I actually think Batron did a really good job there. Been firing the needlework up topside, but missing most of them.
Not find the value he's looking for. Rookie now gonna look for anything more. And you're right, is in Batron put in a very unenviable position with the double solo kills coming on over, the lane priority down. Does stop the proxy, but again, I guess then my question is, well, didn't we say in draft that BLG needed an early game where they did manage to get things rolling? We want that for them, and this hasn't been it. In fact, Bin might be another casualty of a poor early game here.
Yeah, where's the Shen ult? Here it comes.
They try and turn that one around. Maybe the counter punch comes on through. Solar Flare is there, but it lands onto both. Cyclone across multiple members. On finds a good Shadow Dash taunt, and Mako gets out alive. Stand United burned. Bin, importantly, does survive.
Really good Stand United from On. Didn't have the exhaust there from Spellbook, otherwise Mako would have gone down. Dive fails, but as you were saying, Bin survives. The Shy on the other side has Flash. Don't think he's under that much threat with that in mind.
Flash there, and indeed does need to burn it. Stays alive from the little look in there from the side of Batron.
On trying to hold the wave on top side, I think, while he's hang on the second. Rookie's trying to get the kill. Exhaust used.
The weirding isn't quite enough. Now Bin's over here, flashes for the auto, no, the shield!
On outplays Rookie. You can solo kill Knight, but not on the Shen. My go. Uses that ignite, uses that exhaust rather. Bin using the Knight after. Elk now getting a 1v1 by the Shy.
Doesn't have that much to work with here. He's got flash, got ult, but he'll use that ult to get out to safety as the Shy did burn his own ult. Grandmaster's might proving a little bit too much for the Daughter of the Void.
But another mistake from Elk. You shouldn't be blowing tools like that. It means you have to back a wave perhaps earlier than you would have wanted to, using an ultimate, which is useful for going into those skirmishes. Elk, I think, has been one of the biggest underperformers of BLG in the last series or two of playoffs. Remember the game 5 Tristana versus Anyone's Legend, the last game as well from Elk on the Jhin, where he ended up doing negative damage basically across that game. He needs to step up if BLG wants to take what was for many an assumed victory. Yes, IG were ramping, but it's BLG. Surely BLG will win this. Not sure I believed quite as heavily as some. Because, yeah, BLG have had worrying signs. IG drafting well, skirmishing well, ramping up as things go through, and we know the ceiling of these players is whether they hit them at the same time. Dragon spawning now.
Dragon started up, as you noted, JJ with the Cyclone, with the Flash, Mako with similar tools up and available himself. May look to come and fight. There's 4 members in the river right now for BLG. To get this dragon caught down into the glacial prison. Fate Seal comes on through. Good kill over the jungler. Mako now in danger as Arm flashes out, but it's into the waiting arms of the Shy, who makes it the 1-for-1. Rookie coming across with the Between Worlds. Doesn't really get the value he was hoping for with it, though. Mako stands on forward, looking for an angle. The Shy with the counter-strike rolling. Will stun a Bin for a second. Dragon secured by Beige One. Into the wall they go, trying to find some more value. Bin gets another. This fight is getting scrappy. Gala trying to find some autos on this side, but he's caught in the back of the pit, and now Elk turns up with much more HP and winning a Cathian Reigns. It damn well paused. There's a triple to the AD carry. Elk is off to the races.
Elk needed to step up, and he does so. Earlier in the year, he turned Invictus Gaming into Invictus Roadkill. And the Elk stands proud once more here in playoffs. What an important game this could be for him. So 2v2 killed in lane where Elk and on after Elk made a mistake. Elk blowing his ult earlier. Right here, gifted 3 kills. Got a cull on the way as well. Elk goes back and buys himself his Yuntal. BLG have a carry online. BLG, the early skirmishes, we asked for them to do much better. Come online, and it comes off on. Very good game from him so far. Stopping the dive early, getting that kill onto Rookie and topside as well. And right here in the first play of the game, killing off the Cyclone Wukong spike before it can make a difference. And then Rookie, yeah, less said about that one the better. Gets no value with his ultimate. In fact, he actually gets 0 value out of his ult. In fact, Eddie probably does negative value. Hops out of the play.
Just being praising the guy. He gets a solo kill lane. Talking about how, you know, this guy at one point was considered the boat, the best who have ever done it. Or certainly up in that consideration, right? And then you have plays like that and you go, oh yeah, that's why we were having some questions earlier in the split.
Yeah, you can thank me all for the cast a blessing there onto Elk. Was just completely dunking on this guy for a very poor playoffs run from Elk. Elk has been a player that I think internationally people think has been, you know, perhaps best in the world or best in role or blah blah. I've never been as high on Elk. Now I think that Elk is good. I think he's great even, but I do think that there are some inconsistencies to his play, which is why I hold this guy to such high standards, like the rest of the LPL players that look towards international titles. It's the difference if you're looking to be a mid-table or a top-table LPL team. If you want to go forwards and go international, we hold them to different standards. And Elk, for me, sometimes has been inconsistent at that very top end. Games like this, though, where he's ahead, he's popped in the call now, good gold lead. This is where I want to want him to showcase his upper level.
His upper level allows him to play in the weight classes of the likes of your Vipers and Deaths of the world. Just how often he gets there, how consistent he gets there. We have more questions about Knight.
Oh, this is a problem. He has his ult buff through a little bit.
Unbind his soul has got the Shen ult to work with, and in comes that Shadow Taunt afterwards. The face shield is exactly that ult over the wall! The killer instinct! It's absolutely beautiful! The trap is well sprung!
First Elk, then Knight. Failing in laning phase, skirmishing afterwards. Knew he had the Shen and the incoming artillery of the Kai'Sa. Outplays, and 3 quickly go down to BLG.
Oh, that was beautiful. I have not seen a trap like that in some times. The Shen ult for one. And then the counterpunch, the haymaker of Elk. That's the weight class we're talking about. It's a knockout blow under the tier 1 turret.
Now, I'm sure we'll get a replay of this. Knight gets himself a turret as well after this, and IG are left just reeling from a play like that. When Knight walked up to that turret, I thought that's surely a mistake. You're walking up to a turret on weak side. Well, that'll be a death for a wave. Let's see if they can cross map. Shen changes that equation so much. On the Shen has been utterly pivotal. That pick has been so important for them. And I don't think Mako understood how much danger he was in too, because the Shen, when he taunts you under the tower, gives you turret aggro. You can't just not attack them because you're taunted. You auto-attack them. And BLG utilized that so well. Get the lockup they need after tower aggro has been transferred over, and BLG hugely on the board now.
I'm not gonna lie, I hadn't considered that point, but you're absolutely right. It's not like you're just stunned, you are actively goaded into attacking someone. That's a huge deal, you're correct. And I think the other thing is you start looking at things like, well, how do you play against the Shen in terms of responding to the global? Because one of the old adages is, well, just attack the global, but it's a support.
At this point, I think, oh, this is a mistake. Knight then pops the soul, and I think, oh, and then you see the Shen ult come in, and you think, ah, that's the play. Great CC, taunt under turret, ultra buffer through the CC. I mean, Knight couldn't have played this better. Knowing that the Kai'Sa was coming as well and making it a clean 3-for-0, that is awful for IG.
You have to take your hats off. maybe their heads as well, apparently, as IG left reeling after that one. The gold lead now pretty significant for BLG. The Shy in a 1v1 with the Knight. It's going to be a bit difficult. Flash over! And the Shy claims a solo. Under the tower we go, and the madness continues. Mako in danger, does survive. Flashing from Zherzhe over the wall with the Nimbus strike. On flashes in turn, TP behind. They want some more on both
Gwen.
sides.
Comes Gwen, Rookie over the wall as well.
Looking for a between worlds, finds it onto 3, gets taunted, needs to get to the wall and does so, trying to find his way out to good weirding, buys himself some time. Elk now in danger, another 1-for-1 has been, is traded, and the Xayah continues to throw up feather after feather after feather, looking much more like knives. The Shy will leap to the skies and try to get some more flash for Gala. A triple for him now.
BLG go too deep. Knight dies in the side lane, and IG find the numbers advantage on the map. Now, Knight is alive if they do want to teleport in again, and they are teleporting towards bot's turret. There's quite a lot low HP members here from IG. Perhaps IG sees, perhaps BLG sees an angle here. Knight is going to roam up. Doesn't have ult, though. Here comes the Shen.
He's got Shen, and he might look anyway. Here we go. In comes on. Misses that one. Needs to get the secure on the dragon, and they will leave it at that. This first steadfast presence to not lead to anything valuable.
Surprised that Knight didn't just E forward step, and the taunt missing as well, definitely not helping. This is the 1v1 in bot side, so level advantage for Knight. Tower shots got to be involved here, surely. No, Knight just gets hit by a huge counter strike, and the Shy just bops him over the head. That's really well played from the Shy. The flash is actually completely unnecessary. He's trying to mind game a Q. He used it just to secure that, I suppose, but yeah, I guess that 1v1 importantly, and that leaves the numbers advantage for IG on the map.
Gala plays out this fight so well. Look how many autos this guy gets off across it. Just keeps finding feather after feather after feather, and the TPs come through. It's a little deep.
It's not a great teleport from Bin. Doesn't come in with the most value. The Shy dies. Can't find himself a 1v1 this time because there are 4 BLG members in his lane.
Too many members there to try and defend that one. All the while Bin pushing on the other side. Zherzhe might come and contest that one. And Rookie's died somewhere in the background as well. Not quite sure how.
That is a great question. That's a great question. I'm trying to see what cooldowns are down.
It's a kill on Bin, so I'm assuming...
no, he was killed on a recall.
On a ward.
He was killed on a recall. Flash forward from Knight. Knight catches out Rookie with, well, we used to call it the OGN recall back in, like, Season 3, Season 4. Kind of died off over time. We just randomly recall in a dangerous spot and die.
I seem to recall a certain player named Rookie who was part of that OGN era, who may still have a little bit of that in him.
Very rarely do it get to revisit that. Knight is 2,000 gold up now on his opposing number. Rookie, who got that solo kill in lane, had a fantastic Game 1 MVP from Game 1. Shut down now quite heavily. Not towards that 2 items yet. Atakan is up and available. And BLG, Mako, yeah, luckily there's only a maximum distance you can go with that Zenith Blade as he flies towards the horizon.
BLG up, about 4,500 gold. Invictus Gaming, though, aren't done. They want to come from play for this Atakan. Look to trade while they might be able to match something of item parity on. Step on forward, tech flash working, Rookie clearing out the way. The Knight also there, Baytron has been a flank around. Gala has not got flash, has got cleanse, has got the ult to work with as well, getting some autos down. Between worlds we go, Rookie trying to stay alive, not the best Arctic Assault ever. The Cyclone comes on down, Rookie surviving as the soul has to be rebound. Now Baytron's in danger, they get the kill. Atakan low, there's no smite to work with, so that should just be secured by IG.
Bin was very far from the objective, and Baytron goes in too deep. Knight does have ult if he wants to try and get one snagged kill at the end.
The ramping speed from the Unbound Soul allows him to pick up Rookie with the fake seal.
It's actually Hulk that picks it up.
Oh, so he is, yeah.
I mean, my dude, you can give it today if you want, but Elk's the one that hits the W. Ends up getting that kill. Mako just about outspaced that. But IG walk away with the Atakan, and folks, this is the LPL which I've missed. This is just Haymaker. Not everything makes sense. Both teams are trying to play so quickly that the other team doesn't have all members at the play, that doesn't have every teleport, doesn't have every big play. Notice how the Gala actually cleanses on the Sejuani ult reactively, even though it doesn't hit him. The good reactions from him, even if it wasn't the right target. Sidesteps the Q as well. If that ended up hitting, I think Gala might have had to blow that ultimate a little early. But the big thing here is that, you know, top laners don't have teleports. So you can't have that Gwen coming in for the extra damage.
Well, that was very successful indeed. Knight then unbinds his soul, and Elk comes flying in with the ult as well. It's a great 1-2 there from the mid bot of BLG to at least get something at the back end of it all, because the Atakan did at least get picked up there, which is something for IG as the game was slipping away from them somewhat.
Really worth noting as well, Gal is in a great position.
He really is.
He's got a bunch of kills, a lot of gold. Yes, the Kaiser is ahead in gold, but don't let that fool you. Both AD carries are fed in this game. 5 kills apiece.
3 items towards Elk, soon to be 3 items for Gala. If BLG overstep and they go into the Xayah Feathers as a 4 melee composition, Xayah loves that. Xayah absolutely loves that. And IG could be walking away with a host more kills for their AD carry.
The big discrepancy is in mid lane. That is a 2,000 plus gold lead. After having been solo killed early, Knight has really come back into this game and become a real menace. JJ has the permafrost put on top of him. It's not actually all that permanent. It feels like a bit of a lie, that ability. You get frozen for like a second or two and then global warming occurs. Maybe it's
sometimes a second can be a lifetime, Sam. Look, Baytron, if he hits those ultimates, I'm just saying, it could be the end of your life, so it would be permanent, I guess, in that mind, where the last breathing moments will be encased in frost. 30 seconds till the dragon.
Dramatic.
Oh, it's pretty dramatic series. Sam qualifies for MSI and for finals.
Very true.
BLG, of course, if they miss out on this one, will miss 2 finals in a row after being the double champions of last year, world finalists. BLG will be a huge blow to them.
There you go. Jumped on, flashes away, stays alive.
Close that flash, as you were saying. That could be important in terms of not being able to quickly answer into something like Yone. Yone often has to pay quite a lot of attention to a Leona. If you jump in and you get Shield of Daybreak, you can die, even with stuff like that Shield Bow. Dragon now spawning. Baytron doesn't have ult.
The ult coming on in from the stand. United keeps Baytron healthy. On joins the play as a result. It means that steadfast presence. So Stand United now burned.
Knight's teleporting in towards mid lane, but he's not here at the fight. The gold lead isn't here for BLG just yet.
Trying to use the feather to help smite that one down, turning onto the Shai, throws down the counter, trying to buy some time to hop out, gets a good stun, needs to hop over the wall and does so. Elk into the backline, now split up from his team, on in danger, goes down. Knight also forced to reset. Damage back onto Jeju, flashes away from the needles. Elk flashed over the wall with the supercharger running the rookie, lands a good weirding, and now Elk's in danger in the backline! We just saw his skill order! Where does Grey Screen fit into that?
They take the fight without Knight there, and BLG don't get to use their gold advantage. Elk tries to go onto one side of the fight with Baytron, but IG rallies so quickly, it doesn't matter. Third dragon to IG, another couple of kills, and BLG are not cleanly winning team fights. IG are playing very well in the 5-man unit, where BLG have beaten them all the way through this split. So often, when it has been BLG IG, it has been Billy Gaming winning in the clutch moments, in the big team fights, and IG struggling to make ends meet beyond that. Big thing about this, why are you going in so quickly without the Yone? Yone is nowhere near. If you have Yone for the CC, you probably end up getting that kill. They go way too far, they all pump up into an Aurora. Knight is forced to overextend into that Leona, we're saying can be a big answer into him. And BLG have pulled the trigger too early. You cannot make a play like that, as Rookie, of course, gets out of Fog of War as well, and survives.
And Elk dies at the back end of it all, and that just gets worse and worse. The gold lead dwindles to 2,000 gold, if that. And a lot of that gold, reminder, is also in the support. It's looking increasingly dangerous. This Jax is scaling. The Shy's Jax is scaling. The AD carries are even. I feel like IG now at soul point as well, and a Cloud Soul on some of these members. Whew, I'm not sure that extra move speed is going to make anything easy for BLG. We're all melees.
However, one good combo from Knight. That conversation quickly ends, I think. The team fight will start and end with a splat. IG need to be very careful not to allow Knight that angle. Has flash. And IG will need to be very aware of that. BLG pushing up across the river. IG don't have any turrets yet, which means it's actually quite hard for them to approach objectives. Makes it even more impressive that they got 3 dragons this early, actually. BLG focusing on the fights rather than the objectives.
Shy whacks a few more minions. He's going to continue to throw down on that side lane. Again, in a 1v1 right now, this Jax is going to be very hard to match. The Yone can probably do it. The Gwen, again, 2.5 items is not exactly a weakling either. Difference maker might end up being something like that. Stand United, but we've not seen the early game impact of it extend into the later stages right now as effectively as it was at the beginning of the game.
Waiting on that third item from that Yone, importantly. No Infinity Edge just in for Knight. Once he completes that, the sword is fully out of the scabbard. IG have all their tools on Gala, importantly. Both these AD carries very fed. Rookie, it can't do that much to Baytron, but it's a nice little love tap. Starts to getting that burn down with all the entries.
That's what he can there, as Gala shoving up through mid lane. Mako shielding off on that side bush, preventing any easy flank angle. Love to get this turret if they can. Mako steps forward, has to be just a touch wary, but the Eclipse safe enough. Again, always a very valuable ability, that one. IG threatening around the Baron.
Yeah, IG very good at methodically walking through this vision. They haven't cleared out all of it, but they've managed to claim stuff. Considering they haven't... here's the engage.
Oh boy, Mako goes down, no eclipse that time around, and the initial pick comes on through Beitron, has a big ultimate. Beitron himself in danger, gets Mikhail's closed out, the between worlds not as clean as I think they were hoping for. Bin now on the flank angle, comes teleporting in, and takes a lot of damage though, goes golden. Is it bought enough time? I think it might have. Gala up into the air, Elk follows with the killer instinct, and Billy Gaming right the wrongs of the last few team fights with a beautiful pick into extended play.
Bin so very nearly another suicide teleport, but the Seekers saves his life. BLG rally around their teleporting top laner and walk away with the kills they need to break open this game. Baron will go down. They'll be able to use that to go into the Dragon in a minute and stop the Soul points. BLG probably just broke this game in half.
The first time in a very long time, Gala goes down. He was 5-1 and so very dangerous. Finally, he can't stand and deliver in a fight. Knight now extends his soul. We'll look at this replay again.
And, you know, the initial pick is onto Mako, and the front of it does have the Mertress, but there's just so much CC. The teleport comes in quite late from Bin, and he walks in quite late again. His teleports haven't been fantastic in this series. Walks forwards, and I don't think quite realizes how in danger he's in. The Shen ult comes through, the Seekers comes through, and the Taunt afterwards is absurd. And Gala, maybe not realizing that his MSI winning top laner, Bin, or Xiaohu being the other one, had that much support behind him.
And in the end, it works out well enough. You can see the call was there. Look, Shen ult me. I've got Zhonya's. We go.
Bloody close to say, though.
It got close.
Got close. Rookie now on top side trying to get IG their top turret, first turret of the game, which they will do so.
Is that first turret of the game? Oh my god.
Yeah. Funnily enough, Sam, that's one of the big things which has been affecting these objectives.
Yeah.
Remember when they had that last dragon and going towards that Baron? One of the big things was, how are they doing this when they haven't got any turrets? Surely that's a big difference. They will take one at least now, but this time it is at the cost of that dragon. BLG, let's see how they use the last of this Baron, but not leading to a huge gold advantage right now because IG took that turret.
Shy throws a few more autos out. Zhe also around. Warden's mail being built up by Mako, and I don't really blame him. Something like a Randu into a frozen heart might go a long way this game.
If he survives through to actual item completion, supports don't exactly get the most gold in the game. On having so much gold has been crucial for BLG too. Yeah. BLG have been very good at giving gold to on various supports, the Elise being the notable one. But right here, Mikhail's and Locket, they do change the way that the game is played. Other item completions, though, I guess we do need to really rattle through this. Infinity Edge for Knight, Zhonya's for Bin. They are game-changing as well.
Fourth item done for Elk after those kills as well. He's a very scary Kai, so the lead there in the bot lane has finally extended in the favor of BLG rather than the relative parity we've seen for the last 5-10 minutes. Knight grouping up to claim another turret, and IG. The map is getting very small, and the rest of it dark and full of, well, I don't necessarily say terrors, but certainly enemy players. One's quite a nice bloke by all accounts. Mako, though, in danger, will stay alive for a second or two. Has the Eclipse rolling. Should be able to back out with the Glacial Prison. And then the passive from Kai'Sa shreds through him. Not safe anymore.
Mako, so good in game one, but this time he's just been caught prey to the CC combos. The Shy has flash, not able to defend this turret. Tried to get Knight away from the turret, not able to do so.
To the inhibitors we look. Another one goes down. Rookie at least gets something back. Another turret in. Can look to reset, get some gold, but another inhibitor falls, and BLG break the base in catastrophic fashion. And they keep shoving for more here.
Well, recalled the members of IG. Still in the 4v5 for now. The wave clear with the Baron buff falling off. Make sure it is survivable at least. BLG will go back, spend their ill-gotten gains, and come back for a victory push.
I was trying to work in a Grand line.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to quite work. I need Herald to be here, and then every time I charge, I just yell Grand really loudly. Just for a future game. But, you know, that's the way my brain works, folks. Knight, though. Oh, what a combo. Does so much damage on JJ. Will rebind the soul. Really feeling empowered to look forwards now. He much more like the Knight we know, and IG at the very least fear.
Now he's going to play that shut down heavily in game one. Still did a decent job of playing from behind on that Ahri versus a very hard competition to play against it. This game, solo killed in lane, shrugs it off. Knight's had a couple of those oopsies in lane before. And runs back a very strong game from him on the Yone. Sejuani Yone fallen off in priority across the LPL, but you can see how powerful it is when you've got players like Beitron who are so comfortable on the Sejuani. Unlocks one of his best champions.
This is only going off vibes. I have no numbers in front of me. But I have even a sneaking suspicion, just a straight up suspicion, that Knight might be the most consistently successful LPL player of all time. If you look at his average finishes in the league, I imagine he's probably the player with the most silver plus wins.
It's now there's a lot of people vying for that, because we have players like Xiaohu, players like Scout as well. But yeah, and 369 in the recent years is the guy that of course got a lot of that success alongside Knight. Kanavi also on that list as well, but Knight is definitely up there for sure. He's also one of the very few players to win, titles on so many different organizations as well. He's won titles on Top Esports, on JDG, and on BLG as well. Ultimate bot side rookie escapes.
Tried to mind game it to base, and I got the right angle, just not quite the length to match the between, not the across the best one. Sometimes conflate the ultimate and the W.
Not a long cooldown at level 16, of course. It's quite scary, because that means that the Soldier One, he gets that with those multiple engage options. IG completely hemmed into their base. Look at the fog of war that they have to play against. It's so nasty.
Wherever they go, there is Sejuani, a Gwen, a Yone waiting. Help, there's a Kaiser and a Shen ready to careen on into any play with their ultimates as well. It is very hard to find fair fights at this point in the game.
See that Gala still doing great damage though, almost full build on the Xayah. We know what that champion can do at full. See some root there on stage one actually, as he loses an amount of his HP. Soul potentially available for IG if they were to claim the dragon. Not gonna lie, don't think Clad Soul wins them the game. If they get hit by CC, they probably still lose the fight afterwards. But it's still an important way to move around the map. Potentially a way to reposition as the Wukong, the Leona, and the Jax as melees too.
You'd like to think how many melees there are on BLG. The move speed as you ult could be really valuable there on a number of players to just sort of like outspace and outstep them maybe. Very least though, BLG head towards that Baron.
Dragon's alive, Baron's alive, IG forced to... I mean, we're counting on your smite key again.
The King of Thieves looks to retain his crown here. Got a flank angle, can look to get in. Has flash, has Warrior Trickster. Hard to keep the Wukong out of the pit. Goes on forward, Cyclone in. Warrior Trickster out. And let's go back in with the flash. Down to 2,000 HP, can't quite do it. Did go looking though, he's in the right timing. BLG now looking for the fight afterwards. The Wonky King is down for the count. Regicide in the jungle. Gala goes up into the air. The feathers come on down, and then it's gold. And Sermune's all the feathers flash over the wall from Gala. But Elk waits and pounces. Finds his way into the back end of the play. He should be renaming to Leopard or Panther. He looks a lot more voracious than a mere elk. The Shy will hop over the wall and flash away, but I don't think it'll be for very long as the Q is pressed and the Acathian Rain melts through the Shy's health bar.
When an Acathian rains, it Acathian pours. Elk 11 kills on the Kaiser, the true carry of BLG in this game. And Invictus Gaming, after destroying BLG in teamfights in game one, are made to remember exactly why BLG were considered favorites heading into this series. Mako will go down as Beitron hunts them, and the game will go to even.
A back and forth and back again game, but in the end, the mid-game price that IG played around some of those objectives around Knight's Yone proves too much to pay. BLG find themselves evening up the series. If you look at that, my hand, the line's on them. I think the fortune reads, there's a series here.
Funny how that works. BLG bring the series back to even. I think a lot of the people on the Chinese broadcast were predicting 2-1 or 2-2. 2-1 or, sorry, 3-1 or 3-2 for the side of BLG. No one actually calling an IG vote on terms of the desk of the people there. And myself, I did think that BLG were going to walk away with a win here, but IG in game one, maybe consider that a little bit more. I thought, okay, well, IG have been ramping up. Can they really finish off a series like this, though? 2 games, we'll be getting at least 4 games here today. We'll see whether IG can win another game on red side to force that. They will be getting blue side for the next draft if they choose it, because they do get the side selection after losing the last game. And this is now game on, absolutely. IG have shown that they can beat BLG, but BLG showcasing that, yes, while their drafts are not as good as IG's, they are good enough skirmishers and team fighters and individual players to make things work.
Yeah, and in fairness, I think this time we both liked their draft a lot more. It made more cohesive sense with the Shen Kaiser following up on the divers and the melees of the top side of the map and becoming really, really dangerous. Some of those like counterplays, that tier 1 counterplay from Knight and Shen and Elk were just awesome. Awesome.
Yes, the Shen was game-changing. That Shen was by far the most important pick that game. For me, On is the player of the game because of that. Yes, Elk got the kills. On is the reason they could get to that point, though. That
that play under the turret, as you were saying, the ability to save bin on the top side of the map. I think that the Shen strategically was the pick that they needed, and BLG haven't convinced me often with that kind of drafting tool. They've typically been like oh, we're good enough players to make it work, not necessarily the drafters to go alongside it.
Yeah, and I think one of the weapons that BLG does have later into drafts is often the fact that On does actually, much like your Beryls of the world, your Lehens of the world, have a few of these kooky, quirky picks that he alone seems to know the mastery of. The Shen support, which is not very common at the minute. The Elise support, which has fallen off favor, but which On is so genuinely lethal on when he pulls it out. Those pocket pick elements in best of series, when you do get to see the side of On and go, yeah, that's why we rated you. Well, here we go again, another good moment for him here, and that's pretty valuable.
Once do you need a break for anything, Sam?
I could use the bathroom unless you want to go first.
You can do that, and as long as the bathroom's free, I'm not sure. But I will put on some adverts because we need to do that, and we'll watch through these highlights. Oh my god, thank you for the 10 gift sub, Hippie. Thank you so much. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much. Yes? Yeah, I do it now. Now's the time to do it. Go do it.
Right, what do you want? Coffee. Chat, you want anything?
Yeah, chat, do you want a coffee? We can send it in the mail. It'll be soggy mail.
Yeah,
but,
very soggy mail.
Yeah. I'm glad we get a series, because like that first game from BLG just was not it. A lot of individual underperformances, which is when BLG lose, it's often due to their own underperformance, which really annoys me. Because when BLG actually perform, we see that they can reach like world finals. We see that they can reach MSI finals. It really annoys me when they don't like other teams. Like, don't just beat them at their peak. Very, very few teams have beaten BLG peak. It's just about their inconsistencies. Maybe that's giving a lot of too much praise over towards BLG and whatever, because sometimes you can see them not play at peak because teams have put them under so much pressure, right? But it does annoy me quite a lot when BLG don't play to what I know they can do. IG are not a dissimilar archetype of team, right? So many good individual players, and I just wish we could see them at peak more. You know, both of these teams are ones which I want to see playing best in the world, best of their potential. Good news, we can finally be bees. This isn't your world, but you can be a bee. You'll live like 30 years. This is insane. We can finally be bees, Sam. We can finally be a bee. MVP of that game, I think it's On. I think that both supports from the winning team in the first two games have been the real MVPs for me. They've been so good in their wins. Like Mako's Alistair was very, very good. Of course, I thought Rookie was also very good in game 1 too. Hey, Harold working his second live event broadcast next Saturday. Very cool. Very cool. Is that the UKL finals? Is that a thing that's happening? Is there a LAN for that again? But congrats, is always very cool working in studio and working with live audience and stuff. Getting that interaction with people, like when we're doing stuff from our bedroom like this, like it's cool to be able to like see you in chat and stuff. But when we come off of the show and there's just nothing to do, like On does get the MVP. He was fantastic. He was really, really good. Very key. But yeah, it's very different being able to physically interact with fans and stuff. Fans and viewers alike. Okay, Genji pulling back against actually. Ooh, some votes for Elk. I mean, obviously, yeah, there would be. Because, like, it's a high kill Kai'Sa game. Some people are going to do that. I will pause to check as well. Can you 1v9 on Skarner? Well, he did throw them the first game of the series, so, you know, he deserves to fight one back. Okay. Right, let's go play some words on stream for a little bit. And we already did some adverts, so that is good. Cool. Wait, whoa, that is super laggy. Why is that so laggy? What? But like I typed that ages ago. What's happening there, folks?
是暗夜的猎手，更是夜拍的高手。OPPO Find X8 系列夜景人像神器，夜拍超清晰人像 MVP。
TCL X11H 01 QD Mini LED 电视，纯净画质，细节尽显。
I need to get on this series on the second screen, don't I?
丰富明暗细
See
节
what's happening with LCK.
典藏级影像体验。TCL
红冠战马，更受中国电竞用户喜欢的能量饮料，更受年轻人喜欢的中国能量饮料。中国电竞。
Finally beat. Can IG win? Absolutely they can. Absolutely they
奥
can.
风电竞椅，职业战队的选择，连续5年中国电竞椅销量第一。奥风 G7 专业人体工学电竞椅，22项调节，提供腰颈肩全方位支撑。上官方旗舰店搜奥风 G7。
今晚碾压局，你的
Oh,
车。
well, we shall start again.
这样了吗？或者说，
开局吗？
开就开。
Crap. Chovy was gapping Zek the last game. What the hell? 4K. Jesus, what? Chovy was like 5k up on Zeka's Silas. What? Chovy is not. He's not human, actually. He's just not human. The guy is just absurdly good at League of Legends. Even he was even in like the game before that when everyone else was getting dumpstered in terms of gold anyway.
我们现身之时，便是他们落荒而逃之日。向无情的猎手献上礼赞。
Grand. Okay.
输掉败者组的原因，就是因为我们在局内的那种小细节没有对方做得好，然后下次的话我们就改正这些就好了。再次对战 IG 下路的话，我觉得他们下路在对线端是很强的选手，然后对战他们的时候就小心那种他们和打野的配合就好了。跟去年相比的话，我觉得是没什么改变的吧。然后在 BLG 的话，就是梦想能拿到一个世界赛冠军，还有 MSI 冠军。对下场比赛的话，就是希望无论如何都一定要赢。然后对队友说的话就是
Yeah, there's some weird lag on both the streams today, don't know why. You know, no. 600, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Of course, if you are enjoying what we're doing on the stream, by the way, please drop a follow, drop a like if you can. It makes a difference to us. You know, these are really important series for the LPL. And there is no official broadcast anymore, which what that means is that no one is being paid to broadcast this anymore. And yeah, that means that it's important that you support LPL streams in any way that you want. If you enjoy esports and you want esports to continue being a thing, support it. Renekton Cassante game 5. Renekton tends to win that. Well, I say Renekton tends to win this. Didn't against AL, did it? On stage again. Come on, we can pass this round at least, can't we? Ooh, one more off. Dial, yep. Dial. So Zed will be fake. Cool, there we go. Pass the round. Okay, we'll leave it there, folks, just so we can make sure that we have stuff on screen as we get into the draft. See, ain't that important? We have our Hoth music back. Game 3, BLG first blue side game of the red side game of the series. IG first blue side, and the bans are very different to reflect that. Varus not banned by BLG yet; they're banning the Talia on blue side instead. Silas Galio banned away from Knight. Really afraid of those kind of mobile AP bruises, which Galio and Silas both classify as. What do they want to go with that in mind? Do they want to go towards more mage mid lane, or do they want to go towards something like an Azir? I mean, I know the rookie's not the most historic / best player at that, but it's what they're angling towards. Maybe it's just the globals they want to take away as well with the Galio. Something like Rise could be a decent early pick now with both Silas and Galio out of the pool and being good matchups into that. Of course, the Annie would be another answer into that, or Aurora. Both of them have gone too. Varus is banned by BLG. What's left up? You have something like you have Pantheon, Callista early locked in, first lock in. You can go towards Lucian Nami for Elk on. What else could you go towards? You want lane dominance here. You don't have Jhin, you don't have Varus, don't have Ezreal, which are both very good at. They're all very good at lane dominance. You need something lane dominance. Do you go towards the Lucian, taking away the Renata? You don't have the Varus to pair it up with, which would be the choice pairing with that. Go for the Sion instead. There's no Trundle to anti-tank that. They learned that hard lesson against anyone's legend, the Trundle Cassiopeia, and they do take the Renata as well. Great front to back now. Sion holds down the front line, Renata throws the carpet over the top of it, and IG will struggle to take front to backs. They need to find another angle to fight from now. If they were to go in towards even 5v5s. The Nidalee top is worthwhile here. It destroys the Sion in lane. We saw that again for them versus Team WE, where Team WE just didn't know what to do about it. They got destroyed by IG. The Shy goes towards the Nidalee. This is going to be some janky team fighting from IG. Their lanes are good this time, but this is a bit of a flip. Last time, IG were the ones with the better compositions, the better team fighting, but actually, BLG had the individual power and the individual comfort picks. Now it's IG with individual power. Is the Ashe is locked in for Elk. Ashe Renata, that's pretty good versus this set of combos, It's really good double engage. IG don't have a Wukong to get on top of that Ashe either. No Aurora to ult through the back line. Of course, that wouldn't be relevant here because they already locked in their solo laners. But how do you get towards this Ashe with no Trundle, no Renata, no Rumble? And if I were rhyming, I could say that they'd fumbled the draft. Perhaps it's crumbling. Second round. Just Shinzao banned away. Are they going to be able to get any kind of frontline? This is a problem. No Sejuani. No Shinzao. Vi has been completely unpicked and banned, by the way. Like, there's no like, disable on Vi or anything, right? Why has Vi not been picked at all? Surprising to me. Vi's quite hard to play into the Renata, but it's also a way onto the Ashe. Skarner banned away from JJ. Vi just completely unpicked and banned. Very surprised given that JJ and Beitron both love that pick. Maybe it's just not what... Oh, by the way, Zeref, so sorry that I missed the 5 gift sub. It means an awful lot to us. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the 5 gift bomb. Of course, you know how much that means to us. Thank you, Zeref. Okay, Knight banned away from Akali. What else even lanes well into the Azir? Something like a Victor could be very good for the comp. They banned away the Rise. Look, I think if Knight goes towards Victor or something like that, I know it's not his choice pick. That's really, really powerful here. Surprised they picked Rookie Azir on 3 instead of Shinzao. Yeah, but then you look at the Sion Renata. If Knight had picked up the Azir, I know that Knight is not the best Azir out there, but it's good for the composition, right? Now BLG, I quite like that Pantheon. I think Pantheon's quite good though. Pantheon could be temporary frontline. Very good early skirmisher, good global. You can explode onto a target with Ashe ult and Pantheon ult. I mean, Jeja does play the good Jarvan. If you catch BLG out of position, it's a good way to put the Ashe Renata into a place they'd have to flash out of. Very janky comp though from IG, very janky. They do lock that Jarvan. I mean, what else are you going to do? You could have gone towards the Vi, I suppose, but Jarvan can at least ult and flag drag out. Unless it's, hang on, unless it's Jarvan's support. If this is Jarvan's support, that allows you to pick a different jungler. Because you see they're hovering over like the Zyra, which can be played, which you'd assume would be jungle. Now hovering over Enchanters instead. I don't know if the Enchanter actually helps you. You don't have frontline to really help with this. You really think about going towards Mako's Enchanter pool? The Soraka locked in. I have not seen a Soraka in a very, very long time. Trying to give them some Enchanter scaling. The Victor locked in for Knight. We did call that out as a powerful pick. It is immobile into the Jarvan, but my worry for IG is that they jump forward the Jarvan, they put down the carpet from Renata, and it doesn't matter. You are then left alone. The Victor, good laning phase into the Azir. BLG have much, much better front to back. Kalista Soraka can be powerful because the Soraka can be kept safe by the Kalista and you hyperscale, but you do need someone who can survive that first part of the fight. You don't have frontliners, IG. Jarvan doesn't count. You are going to get blown up. BLG, much better comp. When BLG last played the Scion, the Trundle came in and the Trundle passive here came in. Yes, no, Harold actually just mentioned that, Drumsticks, actually. This is the comp Trimby, Rogue 2022 bot lane, the Kalista Soraka. Can be very lane dominant, actually, because the Soraka is very good at poking out melees. So, IG, I don't think they walk away with a good composition this time. I think they overcooked. I think BLG walk away with a better composition. BLG with a chance to win on red side against IG. Played both their games on blue side so far. I think they walked away with a much better comp this time. However, in the LPL, sometimes the aura of blue side just sometimes empowers people in ways which I just can't describe. Not exactly sure why. Important game here today again, folks. Let's just revisit those stakes. IG, a chance to reach in MSI for the first time since 2019. It'll be Rookie's first, well, be IG's first final since 2019. Rookie's first international since 2019 Worlds. Such a long time away from the stage for Rookie, one of the world's greatest players. BLG looking to reach their finals after missing last split and being the most recent dominant era. Kai'Sa graces the sky. Let's hear those gyros. BLG walking up. Do they spot that ward? They'll spot it out now. They're spotted on this. Of course, early plans with stuff like the Ashe and the Scion can be very powerful. Tag with a volley, not doing much else there. Jed is spotted walking over towards their own Raptors. They'll know that there's a ward put down. They'll know there's a ward on Raptors. Mako hits that Q early on. We'll remove the bone plating. One of the reasons why Soraka are very good is that poke of that Q is really, really nasty at that level. And Batron, is he really going to stick around for a camp steal? They know there's no ward in here. Swap that out. Starting on enemy Raptors. So I'm going to recall, go towards the top side of the map. Sam's brought me a coffee and we'll get status situated down for third game of the day. So we have a Kalista Soraka bot lane. Ooh. IG have been cooking. They have been cooking. Now I think they've overcooked a little bit here. I don't necessarily think this is a winning draft for them. The Shy intercepting the wave early here. Jed is starting on enemy Raptors. But then again, so is the Pantheon. So both junglers starting on enemy camps.
So, when was the last time I saw Kalista Soraka? Who was the guys who kind of first did this a lot?
Rogue. It was Comp Trimby that did it a lot. You see that they poke coming through. There's actually a ward in the brush already. Heal coming through onto the Soraka because the Q is hit.
Scarlet. Gonna match the heals there as Mako went on. As he's chunked out a little bit here. This Astronauta pretty potent in its own right, getting a lot of early shot.
And you can see all flash forwards. Flash forward for the loyalty program. Pantheon's on bot side. Oh, this is a problem. There's no flash on Gala.
Oh, they're all dead. The reset's not going to mean anything. A desperate attempt, and Bejuan's not going to allow it in the slightest. Jarvan not here. He's on the Krugs on the other side. This dive, it's a foregone conclusion. It's a formality. No bailouts for anything required. Mako now has to sit here as a level 1 Soraka and wonder where it all went wrong.
Do they go for the dive? Yes, they do. Flash away from Mako.
2 actually buys a lot of time. Bejuan not quite burning out, but the bailout's going to run away. They don't get Mako's anyone roaming. Jarvan's looking mid. They're all quite low. If Mako can delay the resets, this could still get a little interesting in terms of wave control at the very least.
Yeah, that second dive was too far. That was too far. I think there are ways you can kill more effectively there, but you don't have an ignite to secure it. JJ is now going to walk into bot side jungle, knowing that Bejuan can't really contest. He showed too much on that bot side clear. JJ is going to get ahead in the individual farm.
The price of that bot side play. Either way, it is still an early win for BLG. On the surface of it, the question is what IG can recoup from it, and whether things like lane state, whether things like that jungle advantage come back to bite them in terms of the extended play.
On the other side, you see that the Shy is starting up with lane dominance already. Bejuan will see that his blue buff is gone. We'll take his wolves. First kill, of course, went to him. Comes back onto the map with a little bit of gold. Of course, he used. Elk will get some XP advantage from the wave crashing back in. But the Shy is now left alone on top side. No one is helping out this lane. And I was wondering whether Bin would do better than Cube in this matchup. The Shy completely dominated Team WE, who were finally
kind of respected by an opponent in this playoffs, and their dream fell apart for themselves. Bin not able to really stop the Shy doing that much in this matchup for now. Good farming by Bin under turret. Managed to get all of them at least. Knight's doing enough in this mid lane matchup. Have to pay attention to JJ because, let's be honest, Beitron can't. As soon as Beitron shows them that dive, JJ is completely fine to do whatever. Now got Gala and Mako swapping across the map. Kind of, I guess, afraid after falling behind a little bit. You can see that Knight is basically being left on an island mid lane, just trying to farm up as best he can. The Victor left pick. Victor, not a pick which Knight goes towards that often, but it's very good in this draft. Eventually, we're going to get to the point where Bin is going to be very, very tanky. He will be the front line, and if JJ goes in, I think that the hostile takeover, the carpet laid over the team fight, will be very hard for IG to deal with. They need to find multiple angles to play the fight in.
And there's a lot of just pick CC between the hostile takeover, the Ash Arrow, the Pantheon, the Scion, even things like the handshake if you can land it. If the first person to get hit will have a very unfun time.
Could be a dive onto the Shy here potentially. Beitron potentially stacking up his passive. Might just be farming under turret. The fact that the Nidalee has been removed from the 1v1 is important. That is important. BLG will want to make sure that the Scion is getting more value than the Nidalee and not just losing farm as the Nidalee pushed into tower.
I don't know whether it came up on screen earlier, but I remember Gala, at least this year, hasn't looked the absolute best on the on the Kalista. He individually's played it okay, I think. But well.
I think you're being polite there.
Yeah, yes. But it's not been the sheer dominance we've seen of someone like Elk, honestly, on the Kalista. Our true Psycho AD carries tend to be the ones that are a little bit better at that champion, and that's not quite been how Gala has played it, and the team also hasn't rallied around it in the way that you sometimes expect or require a Kalista to have happen.
Yeah, Gala's never been the best of Kalista players over in the LPL, which has made a career out of that pick quite often, actually. See that top side, because Grubs haven't spawned yet, so it's not like they're helping with the plates down. 2 plates being taken by IG's bot lane on the top side. Other side, the Shy picking up farm, but that 10 CS lead he had early, not getting to that much. He picked up the cull because he realized, hang on, I've just got to get some individual lead. Knows they'll be farming okay, but the fact that you don't get that 1v1 of the Nidalee into the sign is a problem. Alkanon pushing in yet again.
Not going to find too much there at the moment. That shove continuing to be valuable. I feel like actually for the first time in a while we've seen a game where BLG have got lanes which are feeling pretty good, because again, even that last game early on, it was the Aurora with a lot of shove getting the solo kill, the bot side also shoving in, and it turned around later on with things like Shen Ultimate as Rookie, Stefan forced the flash out of that, but now Rookie caught in the Arcane Storm, eats a lot of his health bar, but is not quite in range for too much more damage.
No, that's actually fine for Knight there, though. Managed to turn around a lot of damage. Rookie will be pushed out of lane. Means that Knight gets control of the next wave before the Grubs spawn in a minute. Loses this flash, but considering you are Victor kind of left on an island, because Beitron has said, I'm going to be helping out my 2v2. That's just the plan. Just dive with the Ash Renata. Knight knows that he will not be having 2v2s mid. He'll be 1v2, 1v3, even if someone else roams towards it. Keeping up is slightly ahead in farm, actually. Bin also now ahead in farm, even in farm 2, was briefly ahead before waves crashed in, actually. BLG solo lane's doing much better than the previous games of the series.
Big time. At the very least, JJ going to hit 6 early. That's a lot of the value he got from the early farm leads from what Beitron pulled off in that bot lane. However, it does need to turn into something, and you need these level 6s to matter. You need to get value out of things like the Wish, the big all-in from Kalista, because you've got effectively double enchanters to set this Kalista up to just go careening into whatever fight you wishes and try and get things working, because if you don't, I fear for IG's compositional play patterns, I guess.
Been trying to trade out well against the Shy here. Hitting good Qs so far, but look, the Nidalee does win extended trades really well. You can see that they heal up an extra amount, so of course the on-hit heal from the Colm definitely helping. Helping on towards the top side. Once again, Beitron flashing in from on.
Ooh, tries to get this one working. Mako being run out. There's no level 6 to work with, so Mako just goes down. There's nothing to be done. Nice play.
On's Renata strikes again. On one side, you have Rookie's Azir, Gala's Kalista. On the other side, you have Elk on playing towards the Ash Renata, which they've made an absolute career out of.
Shield vault onto JJ, who's forced to flash away. It's not getting pretty. There we go, that's a better way of phrasing that. Any moment soon as IG find themselves 500 gold behind with the Grubs are about to fall as well. Both sets of early objectives likely going BLG's way, and I don't think there's realistically a good contest right now.
Rookie has his ultimate coming back up. Knight will try and trade onto him, stop Rookie from getting towards the plate.
Gonna try and steps forward, gets a lot of damage. The heal comes on down. There's the Cataclysm. Flash out from Elk is clean. Now Mako to do. Go back to the plate to level 5. Soraka eating Ranger's focus after Ranger's focus. The Fates is called. Pokemon, I choose you, Soraka! It's not quite a Jigglypuff, is it? But the song to go to sleep might be something the Shy is now turned on up. All the while, though, finally getting Bin teaming up as well, turning around with the decimated smash. Mako trying to stay alive, heal his way up. The Shy, no mana, flash away from Gala. Just about alive. Beijing needs to back away as the Starfall comes on down the Pierce. Not enough. Bin goes down, and actually the extended plays the sustain. Enough to keep IG in it.
Q's hitting onto the backline. I mean, the healing of the Soraka is too much.
Beautiful extended fight. I thought it was all but over, but somehow, someway, Mako stays alive and does all the value.
And while all this is happening, Knight tried to stop Rookie from getting to the play, gets solo killed instead, and Rookie gets to walk over and make a play. Knight's now back onto the field, but BLG will not be able to win the fight in the way that they wanted to. IG gets ahead of that play, and the Soraka already rearing its ugly head in terms of the value that that champion can get in more long-term fights. Continual Qs getting hit, reducing the cost to yourself for casting those Ws afterwards is nasty as hell. The initial play on top was very good from Elkanon, using double ults. Silence used very early. And of course the flash from Mako being down at this point meant that On could just walk up, claim that kill, or use that flash. Elkanon doing well in the lane dominance. The Kalista Soraka not winning the lane in the way that IG may have wanted to.
Is that solo kill you were talking about? Knight does indeed try to go to test, and Rookie says absolutely not.
Yeah, Knight goes too far here. I mean, let's be honest, you just used your flash. Rookie is used to the lethal tempo, gets that kill. I think he would have been okay just trading, you know, bits of HP, trying to stop him getting to the plate. You can't die there, though. That's a mistake from Knight. His early games haven't been fantastic so far in this series. Rookie getting the better of him, and you know, Rookie, though his Azir has had tenuous history, one that's quite important here. Back into the picture. JJ on top side, maybe going onto that flashless Knight.
The other Victor, bit of an ironic name at the minute, as that Knight does not get to survive, meets the full force of an Emperor, but wait! Gets one with him!
The Ash Arrow helping out a little bit there, forcing some movement. Rookie will, however, get to stay alone on this top side. BLG not really giving any help towards Knight, so he'll have to deal with just that global. BLG turn their attention elsewhere, get that dragon on the bot side of the map.
Gets them the feat of strength too, actually, because they obviously got 2 of the grubs, so puts them into a good position on that front. But IG taking all the plates and their own grub and Rookie here. This should realistically be a done deal where Rookie picks up this turret. With the teleport coming on through, maybe doesn't have quite enough damage right now.
Doesn't have the Nash's Tooth, doesn't have the grub. So it's easy to kind of get tricked to think, oh, he will just be destroying the side lanes. Oh, sorry, he does have that Nash's Tooth, but doesn't have the 3 grubs in the way that, you know, you were seeing really destroying towers. Rookie with a lot of gold now, 4 kills from the early skirmishes. And Rookie's Azir not had the best history within the LPL, especially when you compare it to someone like, you know, Shanks and current form has been much better at that. But an Azir is still an Azir. If he gets to auto attack with this amount of gold, BLG will have issues.
Massive value there from that one, no doubt. It does bring the gold into IG's favor after a game that was a little bit dicey looking early on with how much pressure they were under, how much Elkanon were getting value down. Of course, you've still got to turn this into a win, but double enchanter plus double auto attack is in the
Rookie has no flash, and he doesn't have an ultimate. He just uses E. He might end up getting ulted here by Beitron because his E is still on first rank of cooldown. Long cooldown. This could be a chance for Beitron to ult behind him.
Mako here to try and support, but On's looking for it. There is that ult you were talking about. Grand Starfall comes on in. Rookie sidesteps some of the value, trying to find a way to slide out to safety. Finds his way across. Going to try and jump in on the other side. The Cataclysm comes on down, but he's stunned up. The hostile takeover. Not huge value, though. Gravity Field comes on down, and Knight picks up Rookie.
Have to watch out for those cooldowns on Azir. If you see someone on his side of the map that can engage onto him, his E cooldown becomes the must-watch ability. Second kill goes over towards... Was that over towards Beitron, or did Knight end up picking that one up?
Knight picked it up,
okay, that's cool. Right, so that ends up means he cuts that gold advantage down a little bit for himself individually, and Rookie oversteps. Mako very nearly saving his life. That silence was crucial onto Beitron to stop him insta-stunning him, but BLG still pick up the misused E in the side lane.
Elk yelling 6 Emperor Tyrannus and ensuring that the Emperor gets hit by the arrow on the way is great work.
Run towards bot side as the Shy might have overpushed there. Bin doesn't have ult to force. I don't know when he'll... I don't get that. I'm not wearing headphones, so I don't get to hear that. The Shy does have flash. Might need to use it.
No mana. Potentially start to pounce away. Flash from On, flash from the Shy. The handshake not quite landing this time.
Close run stuff. The Shy losing that flash, but happy to buy the time of 3 members on the bot side of the map. Baytron now being walked out by JJ and Mako. Knights here. I don't really think JJ and Mako want this now.
Probably not. Maybe they can look for the smite fight. JJ gets across the gravity field, but looking to steal it. Can't quite. They've both got red buffs on top of them, so I believe that means that Baytron's quick enough with that secure.
Yeah, you could see the gold just hop. I saw the gold hop up on the top there, so I believe it was him that picked that. Rookie will take that top lane turret. Eventually, Zir turret put down to provide some extra pressure. Well, Knight actually not got the E upgrade yet, interestingly. He might have upgraded... I think he actually ended up upgrading the Q instead first, which is a little strange, just to give the double shield value. Knight was trying to body block Rookie, but couldn't quite do so. But yeah, Rookie had misused that E beforehand, so it wasn't quite on cooldown as the engage came through. Good arrow secures the kill, though. And BLG, despite not having the easiest time of it, will claim it.
I thought Rookie was out scot-free, and then absolutely not. Good arrow from Elk. Eagle vision there. I remember we had some stats earlier on in the split with, like, people's Ashe arrow accuracy, and I remember Elk's was right up there. The highest was 1xN, who basically was it heat-seeking.
I think it was the most, like, the highest hit rate in a single game.
Yeah.
And 1xN was like 21 from 22 in a single game.
It was mental.
Absurd. Sometimes, you know, it doesn't show the value of the arrows hit. That one, very valuable, of course. Some of them we just go into an ulting Scion. Less so. Saw that one the other day. Rookie, level 11. Does have flash, does have ult. A little more safe. Now, 2 items as well. That Rylai's gives you an extra amount of HP to work around.
Hull just cashed in as well from the Shy, so suddenly his gold loons to 1,000 gold as well, so he's feeling a bit better. And IG, after another tumultuous early game on both sides, have managed to come out with a minor gold lead here. Herald being started by BLG.
Yeah, they spotted Soraka recalling, which means that if they can rush this, there will be no support coming through. They will still have that global ultimate. Don't think JJ wants to go in for a steal. Will put himself too far out of position. They claim it before the Soraka can get back into position.
Fight afterwards. Rookie flashes away from the arrow. Shield vault to come on down. Cataclysm down. Night calling it alongside On. JJ forced to back away. The heals come on through. Rookie with a shuffle. Baylor comes on through onto Elf, who does get the reset, but will die afterwards. Hostile takeover. Fantastic. Fate's call, though, buys some space for Mako. Comes back in it. Grand Starfall begins to come on through. Mako gives a light briefly. Gala trying to hop, skip, and jump, but it's into a 6-foot ditch in the ground. A grave by any other name. Finn now stepping on forward. IG forced on the retreat. They played far too close to the fire there.
The Shy walking up, trying to do some extra damage. Really good disengage and splitting of the carries by BLG. Knight and Elk not hit by the same skill shots really helps for BLG there. Knight not hit by the Azir ultimate. He's around to turn some damage back, and of course Scion does get more value this time, gets an assist into that play. Dragon has now spawned. A couple of flashes blown on either side now. Finn going to get some healing from the honey fruits.
Jump on forward, Baytron eats a lot of damage, or rather, puts a lot of damage out. That's the wrong way of phrasing that. Either way, the Shy should not have been there in the way that he was and dies.
Now, looking at how JJ manhandled Monkey and how Baytron was manhandled by Tarzan, you'd be thinking that the jungle advantage would be in the favor of IG, but Baytron having a great game on the Pantheon so far. Another clean ultimate in that fight, going towards the Dragon. Let's see if the Smite key is as clean.
Should be here. You feel like between the Q and the Smite, be a done deal, and it is indeed. That is a 16-minute Hex Soul point. Ooh boy.
And especially with BLG arguably outscaling, that's a huge factor. The Nidalee is not going to be the late game menace all the time, especially when you don't explode the gold leaders. 1,000 gold up is actually quite livable at this point. Rookie tries to get some damage down to Baytron, but there's no extra follow-up. Very lucky to not get completely chain CC'd. This is the big moment here, right, though. Knight and Elk end up splitting for Rookie's ultimate. Knight gets himself away from the damage, and Mako's died on the other side of the map. Was that another ult from Baytron? I don't think so. Didn't even need it.
No, they didn't. I think Elk's ult is on cooldown, so it might well have been that. And that is a fairly significant pick-off nonetheless. Nice one there. And look, here's the arrow coming on down. Snipe from Elk, this guy.
JJ dodges it. Mako doesn't. If that hits JJ, he might actually live there, you know. Now, while this is happening, IG had committed a lot of members bot side. Bin gets to pick up a turret top side. That's going to cut the individual lead of the Nidalee further behind. Only 500 gold ahead. This is not going to be the same impactful Nidalee that we saw against Team W just the other day to see IG through to this series.
Huge, huge, huge moment here and on as well. In that last play around the Herald, by the way, managed to handshake JJ out of his flag and drag. He was mid-flight and got pulled back in, so Elk got to flash away. Really nice from him. Just want to shout out that cool little mechanic.
No, sure, absolutely. You know what? I'd missed that, and it's really cool to spot. players like that here in such important series. Reminder, BLG looking to get through to a finals after they'd missed the last one. They lost to top esports in the lower bracket, some would argue due to a Cassante bug, but nonetheless, BLG, I think it's affected them. It affected their reputation, affected their outlook and their expectations potentially. IG on the other side, a super team, absolutely a team which many people are excited for. I'm excited for. You should be in chat as well, but this team, which hasn't made it through to an international event since Worlds 2019, it would be so special for them to make it. But they have to go through BLG, a team which has been so dominant in the LPL in the recent era. Rookie has the most gold in the game. He is one of those players which we'd love to see make it internationally again. Many of his other teammates have done so a lot more recently than him. But going through BLG is a hard ask.
I think he's got a very unenviable position in this game. Yes, you have got a Soraka behind you, a Nidalee with the Primal Surge attack speed behind you. You can theoretically just amplify this Azir into the heavens and just win out through that. Again, you've got the Kalista who normally falls off a little bit in terms of the scaling, but if you can get to some of those tankier items with the double enchanters behind you, you could just sort of turn into an AD carry bruiser and blast your way through as long as you get the chance to survive. I feel like that's going to be a bit much to ask, though, when you've got a Hex Soul coming in 2 minutes, and we've already mentioned that, look, I'm kind of plucking at straws and narrow threads and windows here when BLG, their scaling is a lot more straightforward and they've got a lot more backing them up in the foundations behind it.
I'm just going to jump in here. Has the E to keep himself safe. They did jump on him with him from the dismount from the Herald. Two Grows make it easier to damage the tower too. The turret's not going to fall, but it's a good chunk and IG can't really leave that turret unattended even for a single wave now. It would fall in that. Rookie going towards the bot side of the map to try and wave clear through this, and he'll be, I think, able to do so. Bin, he gets the demolish proc though. He'll be able to take this down, hopefully. No, not quite. Not as much damage as I thought.
Knight's coming on over as well. He looked to trade into Rookie here a bit himself.
This is a bit of a mirror. Yeah, a bit of an opposite of what we saw in the earlier drafts from BLG in playoffs, and IG in playoffs as well, actually, to a certain extent. I know they played the Nidalee top before. Jed's going to walk on bot side, though, and try and force the flash from Knight, and does.
Actually quite big with the dragon spawning in 50 seconds, so I think time to, if you want to finish up that story time, now is the time, before we have to turn our eyes to violence.
No, the big thing is BLG picking towards the 5v5, not the individual overperformance, whereas IG have done that on the other side. You know, the Kalista Soraka, they really want that. The Nidalee really wants that. On the other side, BLG picking towards the 5v5. Yes, Bin is a big Scion player. Couldn't win on it the last time. Was got Scion Cassio, got Trundle Cassiopeia the last time. Much easier to play it through this time.
Very much so, but that also means that we get to see that potentially in action about 30 seconds. What good timing that is, Alex.
Yeah.
Almost like you're good at your job. Either way, soul point on the line for BLG. They've got the team fight comp. They're the ones with the lead. Jump, though, onto Mako as he's about to potentially go down. Gets Mikhail's cleanse out to safety.
Oh, it's not safe at all. The emote spam from Beichuan, the sub-jungler that righted the ship of BLG. So many people said, oh, he's not the player that BLG needs. Surely he's not that good. He has been exactly what BLG have wanted and needed at certain points. Right here on the Pantheon, taking control of the game.
Tip of the spear, metaphorically, and this time, oh so literally, a 4v5. And Hex Soul on the line. IG, what have you got left? It's going to have to be a miracle steal.
The handshake awaiting from On. Wants to try and cancel it. Uses the ult first.
This is the handshake. JJ can still get in. He's too late. Flashed on him. Flags drags out. And the Hex Soul is secured. Bin stepping on forwards. Gala trying to hop away. Finds a diagram star ball to the back line of Gala. Where do you run? Nowhere. There's nowhere to go. JJ with the cataclysm. He's going to pull back in again. Bailout keeps Elk alive. He's trying to find his way going. Can't quite survive as the Shy picks him up. But again, the Hex Soul slows and short of lightning strikes the Cougar down. Mako needs to run. Flash, handshake, another firm one, another business deal. Snapped up by the Renata Glask Industries.
BLG off of the back of the jungler subbing in mid-split from a team that ended up finishing towards the very bottom of Group Ascend, found the missing piece of the puzzle to make this outfit a title contender again. BLG, they win this series, they go towards that, and Beitron is a huge part of it. You can see that the volley was spotted. You know that the Ash is there, but okay, if you know someone's in that brush, there's a chance that there's multiple people. Does get that Mikhail's through. Even just surviving that amount of HP would have been bad enough. Dying here means you're in a 4v5 for the Hex Soul fight. That warding his enchanters has forever been a very difficult game because of stuff like this. You don't get to survive in the way that a Rakan, Nautilus, or a Leona would have done. On the other side, JJ, look, he has often been the Prince of Peace. This guy's been insane, stealing Elder Dragons, Barons. Beitron beats him on the smite key. And for a player, again, that wouldn't have expected to be on BLG. I wouldn't have expected it. If you told me at the start of the year, I would have told you would have been trolling. He does die at the end. Gala manages to help skip around, but the job's done from Beitron.
The thing is, you can see in a game where they were ahead, where they were even Gala with all of these people backing him up to allow him to do that, you could see what it was supposed to be. It's not that game. It's very much not that game. Now into Hexol early, very early on, with items beginning to come on free. The gold lead significant enough for this time in the game. IG, I feel like their chances are dwindling, though a pick onto on here might be a good start. Can bail himself out, will not need to use it quite yet. The hostile takeover comes in. Gala hopping around, does get some value, is continuing to jump, but finally has his ankles broken. Look at the back end of it, though, as the Shy picks up another. Unfortunately for them, though, there is a massive arcane storm that is looking increasingly devastating for the structures of IG. Mako runs away, throws down an Equinox that slows down Beitron, but again, he caught between two turrets, and Saruman the Wise will look to try and find something. I don't know whether Pantheon really is a good proxy for that particular member of the Lord of the Rings cast. Alas, that is the position we are in. I wonder how you look with a beard. Pantheon Knight nearly dies to the Shy, but should just pick it up with a Siphon Power.
Knight cleaning up so many team fights. We said that the Victor was good in the draft, and he's really proved that well. In that fight, IOG try and get the easy pick onto the Renata, can't get it in time, and now with the Hex Soul, if you buy into a fight, you're stuck in the fight with those slows. The early Hex Soul going to bring BLG into a very dominant position now in the game, even if the gold lead hasn't, I guess, exploded at the top of your screen. It's only 3,000 gold. You can see how much easier it is for BLG to play through the game. They'll get themselves the Atakan, might be a contest, but with Baron on the table, IG, if they lose a contest, could be the Baron afterwards gone as well.
Yeah, ends up hit by the Decimated Smash. The arrow comes on through as well. At least that one is buffered through by Xie. Then now
Angle hit. There's an Angle Rookie, good damage.
Low. Knight's also Giggler. They need to leave. They can't be here. Bin's now split off. Oh, BLG, I think you might have overstayed.
Bin ulting forwards way too readily. Atakan, I think it will reset fully, so it means that BLG will have a free recall. I don't think IG can do that much about it.
Baron.
They might be able to do so, especially with Bin being dead. That could be Baron, even though they've lost the Hexol. BLG, big mistake by them.
Took way too much damage from things like the Atakan. Bin split off from the team, and now Baron down at 5k HP. Beitron's going to look to come on in. The hostile takeover does fly across a few, but it's still a secure on the Baron. IG, a breath of life hit.
Any second, anything more to be done? No. Maybe. There's the Azir turret helping out hold a bit of safe ground there. BLG, they see the Baron go down. They'll now restart the Atakan. Big mistake by Bin going too far forwards in that last play. Jeje did complete the recall. There's a teleport coming behind them. That's going to be Rookie. Has the ultimate. They'll see him on the wave. They can turn onto Rookie, though.
Oh, Rookie, that's really deep. Slides away, but to where? The Emperor's Divide comes on down. Gravity Field is there, but now he's in 1v1 with Knight. I don't think he's winning that. Back onto the Atakan with all the spears in. Should be secured. It's stolen by Base1. Ren doesn't come on through. Cataclysm comes on down. JJ needs to run. Rookie trading out with Knight is being kept in the business. Grand Starfall comes on in. There's an Equinox, though. The stars were waiting, and Soraka silences him. It doesn't matter as they keep hunting on fours. The Shy trades out. Knight gets that one. And then War for all the while that Starfall looks a bit problematic. They still get Atakan. They still get 2 kills. And IG's comeback is swiftly thwarted.
An LPL classic. Is it clean? No. Is it exciting? Hell yes. It is a bunch of skirmishes back to back which explode into, okay, we're looking for a single pick. This opens up an objective. Well, okay, there's extra cooldowns now coming back on the other side. This is the LPL, which is known and beloved around the world. It is non-stop. It is full contact League of Legends. If someone starts getting hit, the other team jumps in. Rookie ends up surviving much longer than I thought he should have had any right to. His ultimate, cutting off almost the entire wave, buys time, which means that Knight is not quick towards the other side of the play. Beitron with the smite, though, makes things right for BLG. He has outsmoked Jeje, which I just didn't think was possible. He is so good at that aspect of his game. And now IG, they don't have time to use their Baron buff, which it's easy to forget. They got the Baron before that Atakan. They've just not had a chance to use it now.
Elder, 8 seconds. Baron, I mean, it's a +9 Baron power play.
But the thing is, IG still get to push in for the Elder. That is the big thing. Bin's going to walk into River now. They do have the Hex Soul to help them out a little bit.
Phantom Valley, Mako in danger. The arrow comes on down. JJ in danger. Pulls away. does survive this time.
Oh, the Hextol's nasty. Just look at the Chain Lightning. Half of the damage from it is just from that Hextol. Some ultimates used by BLG. I mean, Jeb, now's the time to use that Smite Key.
Find the moment. In we go. The Shy on a flank angle, looking to try and find something there. Elk steps on forwards and having none of it. The Rangers focus the volleys. The flash over from Bin. They want the fight. JJ survives for a second. The Wish keeps him alive, but not for much longer as the Arcane Storm claims its victims. Some Hextech empowered lightning doing some work. Mega flashes away. The Thornbound Atakan screams out again. Mordekaiser laughing as his demon-bound champion helped pick up a triple tonight.
Knights on the Victor, cleaning up time after time. On might die to the Shy, but I think the Elder going down will mean that BLG don't care nearly as much. The Shy trying to get a kill onto Knight, perhaps at the end of this.
Man, can he really play? He can try his best. Hops on forward, gets some decent damage into the bush. He goes, gives himself the extended range, can look for a bit more. The Ray comes on forward, flash on forward, Zonya's by Knight, and now the Shy gets hit by the Elder. Temerity stepping up tonight like that.
Knight cleaning up these team fights. This Victor was the right pick for this draft. He very rarely goes towards stuff like that, Victor, but you can see the value once the front line is up and running, once they get that carpet put down in the fight from the Renata. The Victor has so much space to turn, burn, and get those ult resets going once he's got the fully upgraded set of abilities. Knight, difficult laning phases. I don't think he's been laning well in the last few series. Mako will die to the Elder as Elk also chooses to let himself be known in the carry performance.
Elk needs to be a little bit careful here as Gala tries to step on forwards, flash into the slows. Oh, the Rangers focus. Elk just about survives the damage scope, but JJ tries to look for the flag, the drag, and the cataclysm, but all the while, Bin and Knight will avenge their AD carry.
And walk towards the inhibitor. IG have been out team fought. They have been out skirmished, something that they were winning much more in the first games of the series. Things start to crumble now. Their Baron, very much a negative power play.
After the initial game, BLG come out swinging. It's the game one curse. They always need a warm-up, and warmed up they are. Ready, roaring, and the engine is well and truly started. Now this is what I call LPL. Sebulba out there wishes he could be driving like this one. Nexus turrets under siege. BLG will take down the Nexus turrets, and the Nexus after in short order. Invictus Gaming, a last gasp as the base crumbles beneath them. Series point for BLG. One more game as MSI is calling their name.
BLG slaughtered through the team fights. They wait, they scale, and they dominate. Invictus Gaming haven't been international for 6 years. Such a long time waiting. BLG stood between them and that promised land of an international tournament once again after such a long time, but it is oh so hard to get through BLG regionally. Yes, they are not the team that they were last year. I think individual performances are struggling more. I think that the roster changes away from Shonen to the revolving door of jungler has not helped them either. But BLG are still packed with powerful individuals. I think On has had some great games in this series. I think his Renata was crucial. I think Knight on the Victor, despite getting solo killed in lane, who cares? He's carrying the late game. And BLG walk away with a much more comfortable draft in that game, I think, in terms of the 5v5 than before. IG now up against Series Point. They will have another game on blue side and the next one to force a decider.
That is a big old win there for Billy Gaming. Important one as well. And again, things like, remember, that Azir started off 4-0, 2,000 gold lead, and then we went, oh yeah, but this draft is a bit awkward, not sure about this, you need to really snowball, and the Kalista hasn't. Ooh, that gets ugly, and what do you do as the Azir at that point? There were a few moments where you try, but it really doesn't work, and now IG back to the drawing board. They need something here, or it's going to be a ignominious bow out. And that's probably a harsh. IG getting the way to third is hardly ignominious, but it will be an unfortunate way for their run to end. I'm hoping for 5.
This is still the first time in 5 years that IG have been a top 4 team in the LPL. They've made it to top 3. They have glowed up. I want to see this team back in summer contending for world slots. I need to see this team internationally because they're so exciting, even if they give me a heart attack, and I'm sure they give Cagel an aneurysm every time they play.
They certainly do me.
Yeah, this is a team that is so entertaining, though, much like Weibo as well. You know, these kind of teams which are just all over the place but give you some crazy gameplay to watch. BLG on the other side, though, someone like Knight always deserves a place in international for me. That game, like, he just dropped 13 kills in OG. Even after getting solo killed, this guy just does not care about that early game as long as he can get towards his item spikes later on. And of course, alongside the rest of his team, I think Bin on the Scion, crucial frontline. Hero of that game, though, Batron. Batron, early diving, catching people out with his ultimate, smiting the key objectives. Beitron, the player with the lowest expectations on BLG, which I've heard many people call as a shit player and, oh, this guy's just bad. He is what BLG chose to write the atmosphere in the team and be just someone that can go forwards aggressively and make the other players follow him. It's exactly what he did here. He's doing his role within the team, and considering that that kind of game he just pulled out, I think he's doing it damn well.
He really is. And again, like, I expect as this team develops that we'll see more of Beitron the player, not Beitron the band-aid, which is a very different thing. Because I don't think this is what is being asked of him isn't always making him look the best. And I still have a lot of faith in this player. I still think he can be one of the very best. But that is not what's required of him. But games like this, you go, yeah, I remember how scary he can be. Things like his Sejuani, things like his Pantheon, the Lilia, if it ever comes out, are things where you go, this guy can genuinely be someone who can step forward and say, this one is mine.
Yeah, I'm going to go take a break.
Go for
it. Because I want to.
Go do that.
And I will leave you with highlights and a chance to run ads and stuff.
Oh, fabulous. I will do that one. If you could leave the door open to let some of the sweltering air out, that'd be appreciated. Yeah, and to be fair, Belashin, like, it's not like Elk on Beitron Shun are players who don't deserve some criticism. Like, I still think Shun is an incomplete player, even if I think his strengths are genuinely fantastic. You can see why actually, in this scenario, this guy isn't top tier, right? However, in these other scenarios, he very much is. You know, I think Elk and On in very similar positions, and that mercurialness, that kind of multifaceted nature to players means that people are unable to look at them with nuance as a complete package in terms of like, okay, here is what makes this player good, and here's the things that maybe aren't so perfect. And that's frustrating, right? Because I do look at someone like Beitron, who was on teams that weren't that successful and still looking good, comes into BLG and they helped right the wrongs, right the ship. Those are things that are worthy of praise, and that's a pretty good deal. Hey folks, good to see you all in here. Has BLG versus HLE concluded yet, by the way? I've not seen. Doesn't look like it has. We're getting fourth. They're in game 4. Okay. How's it looking in that one? Gen G with a small goalie. Okay. Sam, the time traveler, BLG versus HLE confirmed for MSI. Sorry about that one. Sorry. It's like, has that one concluded yet? I don't actually know. If that's a curse to HLE, I do apologize. Or BLG for that matter. I don't understand this Nidalee Prio. So that's somewhat fair, because obviously we've seen it not work here. If you want to see the Nidalee really work, there was a game from I think it was the last series. The Shy had an absolutely obscene Nidalee game where he can team fight on the Nidalee. And if you want an example of so go back to the last series, and that would have been against WE. Go and look at the Nidalee game in that one, because that is one where you go, okay, I see why he's picking this. It does require you to really push the limits on the champion. You need to be very, very good at it, and you need to be a very, very mechanically gifted player, because you need to smash lane and then take that into basically using your mobility and ability to keep getting autos up, keep repositioning, keep threatening and messing with the backline without overstepping to a very high level. And then you see more value in it, because it just becomes this increasingly annoying harrying bruiser that you just can't lock down. But it does require a certain level of mastery that most players can't do. Elk gets the MVP. I think his arrow hit rate early on determined the game in a lot of ways, so that's fine for me. But yeah, that's not to say that the Nidalee is an easy pick, or it can't just fall flat on its face. But I will say the Shy, at least for me, has made me go, you know what? I don't trust many players with this. I trust you with it. And that, I think, is probably okay. Into the break we go. Let's put some ads on. Elk got MVP.
I would have given it Beitron.
But his arrows were so good early, to be fair.
Elk was really good. Elk was really good. But Beitron, I don't know, man. Yeah, I think Beitron was fantastic.
Right, I'm gonna run and give us some water if that's all right.
Feeling hot, hot, hot. And also we have game 5 in LCK. So potential of a reverse sweep. Yeah. Okay, and now we wait, folks. Now we wait. So, for those of you who are enjoying our content, my name is Nymaera. That's Initialise. You just saw on screen as well. This is a co-stream, but we're professional casters, so we cast the games here. To bring you what would be similar to a broadcast that you would know and love in the past. There is no official LPL broadcast anymore. There are only co-streams, and I think that, you know, ourselves and then LPL English are the ones which are trying to make it look more like an official broadcast and help you enjoy the way that you would normally enjoy other major regions. And if you do enjoy that, please support us. So please support them, support us, the other co-streamers, because there is no one getting paid to cover the LPL anymore. It makes an awful lot of difference to us, folks. You can go join some words on stream on screen as well, because we give you, wow, look at our production value. We give you games to play in the break.
下一场比赛对战 IG 了嘛？我觉得，因为他们也从败者组一直连上下来，但是我们因为在第一轮的时候，其实也是和他们交手了嘛。然后我觉得，还是就是在面对他们的时候，就是给我们整体性打好吧，然后让我们自己的失误减少一点，然后去面对他们。对于再影响一场比赛，我们就去到 MSI 了嘛。我觉得就是这场比赛对于我们整个队伍来说，大家都是一定要赢下嘛，然后大家也都非常有信心，就希望我们能够。对于上一场的失利，大家能够吸取教训嘛，因为在上一场的比赛，其实我们整个队伍的状态也没有特别好，然后就感觉还是有点松懈了。然后这个最后一场，比赛我就觉得大家一定要发挥出该有的实力，然后去到决赛，然后去到 MSI， 然后去复仇 AL 吧。
And we ran it, that's right. Cool. Zeka in game 5. We get to see his win rate. Zeka's been gapped a little bit by Chovy on the other stream. Oh, I might have gone too early on this. Whoops. Yeah, I don't think we're winning this one this time, folks. R is hidden. R is hidden. Good word out here. Oh, we're so close. Okay, we passed. That's good. That's good enough for me. I just don't want this up on screen while we're in draft, obviously. Okay. And we're into game anyway. Okay, let's get rid of that. And let's get into game, why don't we? And into draft. You know how it goes, folks. Game 4. Invictus Gaming won Game 1 of the series, where BLG have been known to be slow starters. Haven't been able to take one after that point. Now on blue side again. Once again banning Silas, Galio, and red side has been banning Talia the entire series so far. Nautilus banned away. A little surprised at that. And I guess engaged supports are going down, but it's not like Maker can't play other can't play other stuff. Rakan now raises in priority hugely. Nico let through. You can Rakan for on, or you can Lucian Nami. Do you let Gala Maker play Caitlyn Nico? Do you play the Lucian Nami anyway? Elkanon were very, very good at that in peak Lucian Nami meta. Jace potentially a takeaway from the Shy. There's no Yorick into that. No Sion to scale into team fights. Oh, this is so hype. The music is so hype. And I hope you're hyped alongside us. Varus locked in as well. We could not forget about that. I forget that that's up. In Game 4, I'd normally expect to be banned or banned the entire series or picked away at this point. So now you have the chance of... Varus, I guess you could Karma for lane dominance. I would be very surprised to see something like a Ziggs there, even though Gala was very good at that pick in the past. Vi raises a lot of priority. 2 great picks, which are immobile into the backline, which is very hard to survive that. There's no Renata to stop the anti-dive this time. I don't actually know what BLG do against the Vi now. Do you go Shinzao? Shinzao on 3? It's probably answered, but you're giving over Vi Ambessa with the Shy Zambessa. Risky doesn't seem to cover that. Risky doesn't seem to cover that at all. IG give over the Nico. They take Jace Varus. Like, these are S tier picks making their way in. All of these picks locked in are S tier. Maybe besides the Ambessa, but Vi makes Ambessa into a much higher tier pick. Shinzao likely to get locked in. You can survive the initial dive. Would leave, of course, mid lane to be picked a little later for both teams. I think IG are ahead in this draft right now, though. If Vi clicks on a target and Nico has Flash, Varus or Jace are getting exploded.
Gonna get pretty ugly there, I have no doubt. IG got themselves some potent picks there. No, nonetheless, if you can make that combo happen, H1 on that Shinzao, that's one of his more comfortable options. Maybe you can play that, and again, Bin on that Jace. There are a few players, Wonder Shy being one of them, who can really match his mechanical might on a champion like that. Maybe that can be enough point of pressure with that, and the Varus, your range is good there.
I do think that Gala can't afford to go towards the Caitlyn. If you go towards Caitlyn, you get outpoked later. Shock Blast and arrow lands and you die. I think that Elk's very likely to go towards the poke variant with no tanks available, really. Especially not from the roles which you've now locked in.
But yeah, unless you want to put the Ambessa mid, but that's not been done very often at all.
And you'd need to see the mid lane matchup. You can't do that blind. You can't do that right here. The Kali banned away from Rookie, interestingly. Well, no, it was really good to dive onto the backline. On might go Braum here. I think IG need to ban Braum, actually. Even if they could demolish the lane, Braum is too good later into the game. Let's see what they go towards. I mean, you might lose lane if you go Varus Braum a little bit, because you are against that Nico, but I'm just worried about what happens if BLG lock in an anti-melee disengage pit. They at least would have, I guess, been
an on-special.
An on-special. I think you can actually go for Braum here if you want. You can also blind pick mid lane if you have something which is survivable and self-sufficient enough in mid lane.
Karma might help you match the shove.
And it gives you some shields later on. Okay, all right. So Varus Karma, I don't know how you beat that now. I don't think you can go towards Caitlyn. I think that is a losing lane. You have to take a Constellation lane. Civ is not bad there. Ezreal's already been picked.
Might have to be the Sivir then. Gala can just look to scale up with that one. Try and just fight wave clear with wave clear. Have the Nico duel out with the Karma for priority, even if it feels like the Varus and Karma pretty much guaranteed to get shoved in whatever lane they're against. That is an obscene amount of shove.
They go towards the Corki instead. They want a bit more early power, but you don't win that lane. My worry is that Gala on the Corki, and he is a good player of the champion, but my worry is that you now no longer have that kind of like super scaling option of the Sivir, which can ult your team onto that very long range but squishy composition of BLG. You take away that, the Rise is a good pick in though. That's a point and click. If you flash forward on someone out of position, they will die very, very quickly. I really liked that. And Knight doesn't have Silas or Galio to contest in the early shove. I think the Silas Galio bans on blue side important.
Yeah.
So now the question is, what do you kind of pick into this? I don't think that's good. I know that they lost. They lock in the Cassipeer anyway. Knight, not a big player of this champion. Very few are. He lost against it, against anyone's legend in the last round. Vi going into a Cassiopeia can suck. Ambassador can see. I mean, if you drop that miasma onto the Vi and the Ambassador as they go in, if you don't engage onto the Cassiopeia, they might be able to carry. What BLG, I think with this composition are saying is, one person will get engaged onto, we will sacrifice them and turn it around with the likes of the Shinzo and the Cassiopeia buying time. Risky, they have no engage besides a Varus ultimate, but they have so much poke, it might make the difference.
You are, because the other side of that is IG, you have to go in. You can't just sit there and trade skills with a Jace Varus. You will lose that war. So you have to go in, and as long as Knight, and it is Knight, as long as someone like Beishuan is ready, you can punish the over-engagers, the petrifying engagers, the miasmas could really, really neuter engagers, assuming it's well managed. But easier said than done. Fun drafts, interesting drafts, a lot of back and forth and picks and counter picks and plays and counter plays available on both sides.
BLG, I think, walk away with a difficult-to-play draft. They have powerful pieces, I think they have winning lanes, and that is something which BLG have used to get towards a World Finals and an MSI Finals last year. They are good when they are at peak doing this. Earlier in the series, though, we saw that it's not always enough to carry them through absolutely everything. IG walk away, for me, with the easier-to-play, more coherent draft.
If BLG can win just one more game, then they are at MSI. They undo the blushes of winter, the first half of spring. We'll finish that thought in a second or two. For Invictus Gaming, is their chance that definitely in their favor. You need this win. Again, it has been many, many years since this team has made top 4. Never mind top 3. It has been many, many years since this team has gone internationally. It is a team of legends, a super team that underwhelmed, much like BLG. A lot of our LPL teams, I hate to see it, have underwhelmed, have been in the mud figuring out exactly how they want to play the game again. First stand was not a pretty look for this region. These teams, when it matters here in spring, have turned it on. Level 1. Bit of poke from the Varus, that's about it. It is the Comet on both Elk and On. As much poke as they can damn well get out of that lane. JJ on vision on the Raptors. Won't lead into it. Barrier for barrier. Raiding. Oh, a little bit low there. Eating a fair number of those blooming blows. The Q goes wide from On. Raiding out there, but it is the winning lanes we're talking about. Alk and On in the wrestle early on come out on top of it. Junglers pathing in opposite direction. Vi towards the Jace shove. Beishuan towards this bot lane, wanting to get as much value out of it as we can. Damage comes on forward, double Comet landing. Damage is good. Red side and LCK is 9 and 1. What the hell? That's kind of crazy, actually. Maybe that was team dependent there. Terrifying stat going into MSI. Yeah, it kind of is. Where's Nymaera? He's just gone to get himself a cup of coffee. He'll be right back. It's just me for now. Apologies for that. Beishuan. Ooh, just one woman comes on into the heal. Comes on down. On's gone forward. But the damage on the Mako is really heavy. The hail of arrows just wide. Ooh, that got spicy. But Mako down both summoners. Elk burned his flash, though. And this is a Varus. He's a little immobile. can be a bit dangerous. The renewal put down. Gala forced to Valkyrie away. Hello, Alex. Welcome back.
The Varus Karma, that laning phase is terrifying. BLG, they don't have much in the way of engage, but they do have that whole thing called damage if you do sit there. And in the early lane, that becomes really impactful. Q hits from Knight there, trading onto Rookie. Gala has Flash, might be forced to blow it.
It is indeed. Flash over from Beishwan. Doesn't have a lot of mana. Flash from On, puts down the renewal. Is still going to be arranged for the 10th there. And Beishwan gets the kill.
That's bad, because this is a death. As you're trying to fix your wave state, you haven't been able to do so, you die, so you're not going to be able to do either of those things. On will be able to stop Mako from interacting with him too. Knight might get rooted here, this could be a problem.
Does indeed eat a realm warp on the Rune Prison, and JJ fails the Q flash. Little embarrassing, that one. Rookie's now in danger to win Fangs!
Knight outplays in the 1v2. You had him in the first half of the series, but maybe not this one. Bin looking to follow suit on the top side.
It's a lot of damage. Got the flash forwards to get the Thundery Blow. The turret's not quite enough now. The Shy has got more energy. Bin, no mana. Needs to find a transformation. The Shock Blast, and he has this, but I wonder whether both these top laners don't want to take the flip. On the wall, though, Bin has to be wary.
He has the repudiation. Should be safe now. Even if the Shock Blast were on target, he could shield through it. The Shy not going to go down to the Bin, and his Insect opportunity there from the Jace. Hang on, hands check here. Shock Blast going to come out of that Fog of War. Bin does have him in his sights. Waits for that reset to happen. Now instead we'll clear through the wave. And the Shy will teleport back.
Bin stuck around to get that shove. And again, you've got to be very wary. We've seen both of these top laners, particularly say in that first game, die for the wave. It's a top lane thing. We both chatted to the likes of Finn and Odoamne over the years here in Europe about the fact that sometimes you just have to suck it in for the wave.
So this is the play in mid lane. One of the things that you forget about Cassiopeia is how much she heals and the continual damage you have. In extended trades, even early into the game, huge issue. Jeje flashes late and flashes off target. I think if he'd flashed a little earlier, it would have made the difference.
Right, yeah.
And then Rookie gets hit by a wayward cube. Look, if you don't play against Cassiopeia that often, sometimes you forget the damage calculations. I mean, we saw Jojo picking this champion up in LEC playoffs just the other week. Won a title with it, and even he was saying, like, I haven't played this in 2 years. I needed to ask, like, my top laner, Miu, and who actually has played more of it. What do I build? What do I build? What do I do? The Mayas cause some weird input buffers. That's true. That's true. You know what? Shout out to that. Bin will probably die on this top side. He has no flash. Ult hits.
There you go. Great shout out in chat. Bin is going to die here as we suddenly are scales fall from our eyes about how that mid lane play happened. Bin will just have his arms fall from his body.
That's completely true. So Bin's going to die here. The wave will push out, I think. I don't think that's going to be frozen there. But yeah, basically, because he's hopping over them, Asma can't flash while he's over it. So he maybe input wrong there. Gala, Mako on the threat again.
There you go, Beishwan. Now looking for that dive. Mr. Winds becomes lightning. Gala steps forward. Valkyrie's back. Eats a soul flare in trade. On picks that turret. Lets it reset. Knight now coming on down. Realm Warp available from Rookie. Needs to be here soon. Already one down. The Comet comes on down. Mako in danger. Turns himself into a shape changer as another kill comes on down. Rookie is now here. But Elk and Beishwan got to trade it. Tree Talon Strike comes on down. Barrier is there. Flash from Rookie. The Overload's not enough. The Tether comes on down and Rookie rooted under his own turret. The Petrifying Gaze. And on with the massive Q gets the damage in the end.
Rookie tries to go forward with the Rune Prison. BLG slap back with the Regional Prison. This is the game which could see Rookie towards international appearance for the first time since 2019. BLG do not want to let that happen. BLG have been the international threat from the LPL of the last year. Shy teleported down to try and pick something up, but BLG, despite a bad first game of the series, have been the better team today.
The first ever mid laner to win the LPL World Championship, but what did it cost him? He seems to have gotten the monkey's paw curse well and truly upon him, has yet to go to an international after. Rookie at Worlds, the meme lives on. Rookie at MSI, looking in question here.
Just clarify, one Worlds went to another Worlds after 2019.
That's very true, actually. You're so right.
And also MSI in 2019
you're right,
as well.
you're right.
So he had that brief year and he had that brief year and a half where he was top of the world, but he hasn't been back since then. IG will take the grubs on the top side of the map.
Look, that's a less cool story. It's a less good monkey's paw, that you're absolutely right. Actually, in fact, that's when EU won their first MSI, so maybe that was big
Sometimes you forget because they weren't on the final stage there. Felled by Team Liquid in the semi-finals. One of the greatest international upsets ever. Team Liquid beating out Invictus Gaming at that 2019 MSI. Often, obviously, overshadowed by GT winning the title against Team Liquid afterwards. But make no mistake, IG, Rookie, was so good for a brief period of time. The one title, which they won, of course, too, back in 2019. They did, of course, compete much earlier into the LPL too. They've been around for a very long time. IG, one of the founding members of the LPL organizations. But, not been all sunshine and rainbows. The great thing about the LPL, there's always another team ready to pick up the mantle and to be the next big team. We go through the whole list of LPL teams. Grand majority of them have been relevant at different times. Top 4 times. BLG here have been top 4 ever since 2023. That was when they rose to dominance.
Finn. One of those players who has been one of the the figureheads of the LPL. There's a lot of them in this game, bluntly, everywhere you care to look. Perhaps the one glaring exception to that. 5 of them, at least, are not going to MSI. Right. Good knock. Blast misses the petrifying gaze, gets turned around on, but still got so much wave speed to work with. Stack the poison, needs to be a bit wary, needs to land another noxious blast. No more steps available, can start to hunt forwards. The move speed hunting, and the poison sinks deep in the veins.
Knight has been practicing, folks, and IG are suffering for it. Bin jumping on the other side of the map.
Rookie now in danger, the cease, the desist, the deceased. For Bin, perhaps he does go down. Phase 1 got the Crescent Guard rolling. Lots of low health bars on now roaming as well. It's a support in the jungle. They're going to try and realm warp out to safety. Can't find the knockup.
Didn't have the knockup primed, was looking for the damage, I think, instead. The raw damage would have been able to kill Rookie. I don't think he would have had time to get through the 3 auto attacks. Knight with a solo kill on the bot side, evened out by a kill on the top side, but he also manages to stick in for an extra wave there. He's going to come back out onto that with, I assume, a very early Rod of Ages, by the way. Only 11 minutes in, but he's got so much kill participation. IG may have given way too much gold over to Knight. I think his backline mage performance on the Victor earlier was exceptional, and right here now, yeah, he's got that 10-minute Rod of Ages, and so much gold behind him. This Cassiopeia is going to be so hard for IG to deal with.
And this was, the Cassiopeia was supposed to be the X factor, the linchpin to keep this relatively fragile but potent draft in terms of damage alive, to counter the dive, but it was going to need some serious chops on the Cassiopeia, and Knight, maybe not chops, but fangs certainly in galore.
Now, the Cassiopeia players in the LPL are pretty limited in number. Only really Shanks in the modern era is the person who's been playing it a lot. Knight picking it up and making it look like it's his specialty champion. Like,
yeah.
If you played like this, as another player around the world or in the LPL, you think, oh, this is his champion. It's not. He's just picked it up for the first game. Look, I'm going to go look it up. Sam, you can go keep yapping.
Absolutely.
When was the last goddamn time he played this champion? Because I can't remember it off the top of my head. It's been a long time. And he's putting out a hell of a performance on it.
It's a big deal, for sure. And I am remembering that people over in LTA have been playing a little bit. Quid, actually looking phenomenal. It's become a bit of a talisman pick for him. It's been other regions. You go, haha, it's just LTA. And then you kind of go, actually, no, they had something here. I am seeing the value of this champion.
Knight, last time he played at MSI 2023 against T1. Of course, we'll be fighting for a chance to get towards that. Genji and H-Lee fighting for the first lead from the LCK. Currently, right now, if you're enjoying that series, put us on the second screen. Tell us how it's going. Is what you want to know as well. Besides that, though, very few games for the champion for Knight. Gets a lot of value. Another insect onto the shack.
Ben, now in potential danger, throws out the public execution. The wind becomes lightning, but it doesn't strike onto the Shy, who does still get hit by that focused resolve. Mako throws the Pop Blossom out, but unfortunately Pop goes to Nico. The nursery rhyme looking a little bit dire here. Brothers Grimm style, as the Nico is no more.
Yeah, this is the fairy tale uncensored. This is the one with all the grisly gore. As Nico, sadly, at the wrong end of that. BLG let the Nico go through, but they gain the Varus, they pick the Karma later. The Nico has not got laning value, has not had skirmish value either. And this is the problem about playing against BLG. I think later into the game, if you had this Nico, Vi, and Besta combo with the Corki jumping forwards to follow the combo, pretty hard to do much about that if you're even in gold. You are not even in gold anymore, and particularly when you have the Cassiopeia very far ahead, one of those key targets is going to be just
blasted.
It's going to be unkillable and turn around a bunch of damage onto you. IG may have given up too much early gold. I know it's only 14 minutes in, but the Cassiopeia, who's likely to go towards not just the Rod of Ages and the the tier, but something like a Leandri's or Rylai's with even more HP as well. I don't see how IG cleanly deal with that. Yes, BLG will have the ability to, well, unfortunately, have the ability to misstep. And, you know, they have 3 immobile carries in the Jace, the Cassiopeia, and the Varus. And if one of them's out of position, yes, we'll have another conversation about that. But I think they've done the BLG Classic. Somehow make a janky-ass composition work because they're very, very good individual players.
Knight going to get some damage there. Needs to be a little bit careful, does the Shy. I keep saying that Knight was the one making someone else eat the damage, but I've got to phrase that correctly. Top phrase is failing me.
On, great Karma game, by the way.
Yeah.
Laning phase has been fantastic. At all of the right plays. I think On, very, very often the litmus test for BLG as well. This is a team which has been very inconsistent. I think versus anyone's Legend, he was by far the second best support against Kyle. The support diff was very hard there. Right here, though, been better than Mako in all but game 1. Been getting jumped on the bot side of the map, potentially. Trying to stop the wave from hitting tower. And will successfully be able to do so. JJ realizing that it's going to be a little too hard to get value out of this. And on the top side of the map, Scuttle Crab taken, Herald spawning now.
And I think the more I'm realizing it, the more I kind of want On to be a jungler, or you know what I mean, in terms of like, this is a player who actually, when you give him agency and individual playmaking,
that's a fair point.
He is that kind of player where that is serious value from him. It can go wrong though, as the hell is happening.
Yeah, and we'll see whether there's going to be something like a Realm Walk coming in, teleport from the Rise. Has been coming in as well. Yes, going to be a fight over this.
Trying to make this play happen. Herald secured. Knight tried the Shy with a Mega Blast Cone. Gala still going to get hit despite the Valkyrie, and On actually, they're getting a lot of value out of the tether as CC.
The Shy sitting on that Blast Cone, really wondering if there's an angle. He does have that public execution into the backline available.
Waiting. Now he gets into the backline onto L. The Petrifying goes by some time. Zhizhe's so low. Oh my days, the Twin Bangs. Even now, the Snake is still dangerous. Eats a lot more damage. Flash on out from L. Buy some time for the Shy. So scary. Going on forward to the bin to the skies he goes. Got a Thundering Blow. The Repudiation still working. Flash on forward from Gala trying to get to value. Gets the Frostball with the auto, but base run hunting for a last auto. Looking for some more damage. Elk on the other side still survives. It is a messy fight. The Blast Cone was almost enough, but it is not.
Herald and 4 kills to BLG, 2 kills to IG. And this is the problem that we see with this composition when they fall behind the curve. This is before BLG even have their big items online, but they have more HP, when they have bigger Karma shields to threaten IG. When they dive in, they're not cleanly getting onto the backline and killing them off before they can turn around damage. You know, Mako not able to get into the thick of things too. He's forced to back by Bin and Beitron. On the other side, Knight gets so much damage, and the extra burst from the Noxious Blast gets enough damage down. Yes, Knight does end up going down because of the combo through from the 3 members as he's caught out by a bit of his CC. But the damage is done. The dive has failed, and BLG can walk it back again.
3-4 in the end, of course. On did respawn. No, that's fine. Because it's just something it was actually a really messy fight. Because I had the same thing. Like, did On die? I can't remember. And the answer was, in fact,
Beitron's walked away with 5 kills now from this early game. He's also going to be one of those people in between the engaging forces and his backline. If the Shinzai gets really fed, that's a problem. Knight get engaged on. The Shy gets another really good back.
How does he keep doing this? It doesn't lead to a kill, but it's a really good angle.
A good miasma from Knight stops the play from happening, but you can't discredit the Shy from trying. Another route potentially onto Gala.
On with the speed. Again, the CC from the Karma. Not what I was expecting, though. The value. So fantastic. The rocket, not enough. Mako goes down. Knight finally falls at the Shine of the backline, but now in danger. Split off. Wind becomes lightning. Hits the Hail of Arrows. Jumped on top of. JJ stepping on forwards. The dancing blow. Vi turns around. Goes into the backline with the cease. The desist. Elk is roadkill. Manages to turn back around, though, as the shot blast comes on down. Looking to get some autos to the skies. Knocked out of it. Baseline stepping on forward with the audacious charge. The Rise still firing. Can Rookie clean them up? Got shield spared up by the Defiance. Hit by the Wind becomes lightning. The Vision not there. Misses the Overload. 3 Talon Strike knockup for BLG. Win out the knife. Fight in truth.
Beitron has done God's work there for BLG. The player which no one expected to do well on this roster. We thought he would be duct tape, a band-aid, something to fix the leaks in BLG, but truly not really an answer, right? Has come away with a career-defining series potentially for him. Beitron, the player who came in midway through BLG's split to fix a failing jungle role after Shun left in the offseason and Wei was subbed out, has been monstrous here for BLG. 2 team fights in a row. He has stuck around to the end of the fight, and the Sundered Sky has ended up giving him immense value. Beitron was the talisman of Thunder Talk Gaming, and he left their mid-split for greener pastures, and he may have just bought himself away to his first international event. This guy, I was told, I was hearing so much talk around the scene about how they didn't believe in Beitron. You know, I had some belief in that statement. Surely he couldn't be what they needed, really, right? He was just going to make the other players look better. He's looked damn fine himself.
This is what he was always able to do when he had the lead, when he had the support. There are few players who will put the beer down, hand it off to someone else and say, nah, I'd win that.
That's insane.
And it's an obscene Xin Zhao fight. It's not even 20 minutes, folks, and we're 24 kills deep.
6,000 damage on Xin Zhao. And this is why Xin Zhao, with an Enchanter, looks just like a freak of nature. When you get Xin Zhao, the extra shield, the extra mobility, this champion is not fair. We've seen Xin Zhao Lulu in the past with a Lulu in the mid lane, and it used to be a little bit cheesy. Now Xin Zhao's just good in general. You give him a Karma, and what do you do about it? The extra amount of damage and on hit that the passive gives you, the crazy amount of damage. The Shy, on the other side, though, credits to the Shy. Invictus Gaming, I think that one of the few reasons that they've been looked competitive in the last 2 team fights is because the Shy has got good angles. He is a very good Ambessa player, potentially our best Ambessa player within the LPL. JJ trying to set him up for success. They are now down against Soul Point. They are down several thousand gold, but the Shy is giving it all he's got to keep IG in the series.
Atakan, we go. BLG on it. They've got the Cassiopeia. Remember, this thing will disappear. Chains of Corruption goes wide. Try to read Rookie running away. Is anyone coming? Not in any good time frame. This is going to be secured by BLG. Last few fights have been desperately close. Actually, you go talk. I've got other things to say.
It's 2 turrets taken for the Atakan. JJ was spotted around bot side and then going into mid lane as well, or at least spotted on mid lane. Ult down from Elk is trying to flash protect, as you said before. Rookie walking forwards, not able to get the Rune Prison cleanly.
It really is a 3vx at the minute. I think BLG might need to leave Beitron to try. The teleport's coming on through Rune Prison. onto On. Stays alive. Public execution wide. Beitron now in a 1v2 will finally fall. You have to feel the twin foes come on down. Damage back. On survive. Massive renewal healing. That is an obscene amount of healing coming back on our Rookie split off from the team as BLG look to collapse on the blue mage. Where does he run? What can he do? Try to use the Krug as a body block. Flash to the skies. And Jace takes down the man who inspired him with magic. Jumps off a double. Wait, JJ's there to punish. Vi showing the man of tomorrow what Zornite Mike can do.
Rookie manages to escape long enough, but BLG once again come out on top in the kills and on the play. They lose 2. I'm trying to remember. I think it was 3 because on Mako has just respawned rather on that Nico. So I think it's a 3 for 2. But they also get that Atakan. The gold is getting more even because IG have taken a couple of towers across the last few minutes as we were talking about before this. Dragon spawning in 10 seconds though means that BLG could get a 22-minute soul from the Chemtech. And in this game, it means so much. The extra heal and shield power will apply to Karma and it will apply to the Xin Zhao healing as well with just the base damage.
Healing,
and of course the tenacity against some of these members too could be crucial. BLG, they've been playing around low health bars already. This is a game where Chemtech Soul could genuinely decide the game.
TP so just about out of range. Rookie goes golden. The Toad Corruption just early, but he's still going to be a very dead Rise.
Bad teleport from Rookie. I think IG were panicking. They knew that they couldn't give this up for free, but it's a fast and loose teleport. Bin the guy to do that mainly in this series. Suddenly 4v5 around the Soul. BLG in the advantage.
Onto the Dragon we go. BLG 5v4, looking to play. The last few fights have been close. Imagine if IG hadn't fallen so far behind earlier.
JJ, is he looking for the smite still? What's the play here? He has an ultimate to get onto the backline. Surely you can't let them have this for free. JJ, what's your smite key like today?
My ass was making it so hard. Night Flash! Petrifying Gaze! They're all turned into statues, frozen! A Medusa! The League of Legends variant anyway shows that why she is a mythological creature.
So often in the LPL, there is a night and day difference between mid laners, and the Cassiopeia closes the door on the series. Knight, bad first few games of the series, slamming things home for the victory though.
Knight takes Rook. Maybe add an E or 2 on the end as the pain comes on through. What an insane play from him.
The only thing IG could look for there was the steal. It's the only thing they could look for. Knight is on it. When he won his titles back in 2022, when he was playing the Syndra, the stun over the wall on that exact spot is what won them that harsh rivalry against JDG. He does it on Cassiopeia, flashing over that very same wall. Knight's history so often hinging around that one bit of terrain around the Dragon Pit. It's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. I'm trying to remember, trying to think actually, was this off vision? Put a ward down over. Sees the Q there, hits it onto someone, sees it over. The ward's still there. Gets the flash stun onto 2. Stops JJ charging the Q up. Can't get over the wall. Take your hats off, folks. That's a Knight special.
So good. It's so good. Ah, BLG. I'm so glad you're back on form. It's made this series much more entertaining. IG, unfortunately, left reeling after how this game has gone. It has been a bloody thing. Every fight over the last 5 to 10 minutes has been close, but just edging towards BLG's favor. They've come up with the kill ahead. It feels like a lot of bodies have hit the floor every time. Again, I mentioned it, musing around that last dragon, how things might have been different if Knight hadn't felt fed, if the early leads hadn't come on through. Could it have been a different story?
And how galling is it for Rookie, who was considered potentially the best player of all time for periods of his earlier career, peaking in 2018, 2019. The conversation was there, and of course it was very tumultuous. To potentially be denied in international events again by Knight, a player who I think in the modern era has been, at worst, top 2 mid laner in the world. It's him and Chovy. It's their era of the mid laner. No, they haven't won the World Championship. You can have that argument elsewhere. They, on an individual level, have been inspiring. They have shown us new heights of the mid lane role for this era of League of Legends. And BLG, they've had a couple of players achieve stuff like that. Elks Ezreal, Elkon the Kaiser, Bin, and a whole host of champions too. Even On has had his moments as well. BLG, how inspiring have they been over time?
Trump, Flash guns in, tries to get on top of Maker, but that's left the Shy out in an awkward position, trying to find a way out of here, but it's a narrow path. He must tread, and the miasma comes on down. He can't Drakehound step through poison. Now JJ are going to try and get out, but just gets Bolt Breaker into the wall. Beishwan picks him up.
Yeah, Knight, more of a K-Dot fan, stops the Drakehound steps. And the beef is real. BLG pushing in towards that top side. This Cassiopeia has been game-breaking in playoffs, and my worry now is Anyone's Legend will play against the winner of this series tomorrow, and if it is BLG, they have learned the Cassiopeia. They have respected the Trundle. Perhaps some of the draft advantage that they had over them the last time won't be there again. Baron will be started, there's no jungler, and BLG will take the Baron for free.
Well, just gotta try and come up with a line from They're Not Like Us, but for now, we'll hold on to it for now. What a reference, by the way. That's clean stuff. You gotta love it when your cast is on form.
We have only the best here for you who enjoy the LPL. And I hope you're enjoying it as much as we are, because it's special to be seeing players like Knight playing like this. Players like Beitron coming out of nowhere. Look, a lot of people, if you are watching this right now, a lot of people will not know who Beitron is. You watch his Pantheon game, you watch this Shinzao game now, and you say, look, I was there on the train early, and if he does do something internationally, this is the kind of game you'll look back towards, this Shinzao game, the Pantheon game before this, and say, yeah, you know what? I saw this happening before. You could have been part of that special crew. Maybe not on the ground floor, but maybe floor 1. We saw him back on TT, where there were some real OGs around there instead. And BLG, a team which it would feel wrong if they didn't make a finals, despite them falling off from last year, and not finding that same magic and the chemistry which saw them through to international finals. Perhaps it's rekindled.
Gold lead ballooning to 8,000. The Chem Soul on top. Look at those items. IG, you have a miracle in a dream. Mako goes looking for it. I think that miracle fizzles. They went looking, can't find a petrifying gaze. Lands. Rookie goes golden. Buys some time. Still got a bit of HP to work with. The flash keeps him alive. Realm warp away. Flash for the 3 talent strike. And you're out.
BLG once again crushed through IG. They can't reach the targets they need. This time it's Mako that fails. A great start to the series. A floundering end as IG in the deep end against BLG, struggling for air.
The inhibitors under siege. Bot lane falls. Mid lane shortly after. Invictus Gaming. The super team run through the lower bracket. How deadly they look. BLG finally bring down a few more health bars in their ignominy. Their defeat in the upper bracket is avenged. MSI awaits. Billy Gaming. Their error may not have failed them yet. A stumble in winter. A stumble at the beginning of spring. But glory awaits. International once more.
Billy Gaming will be your second LPL representatives at MSI. The seeding yet to be determined. and that will be decided tomorrow in the grand finals for LPL Spring 2025. BLG have taken some hard knocks this year. The advent of fearless drafting, some individual player form, the departure of Shun and Wei from the organization after they brought them a summer title and a Worlds Finals, have left them in disarray, but they will see IG through to a 3rd place finish. Not anything to be sniffed at, but IG would have wanted so much more. Rookie, once again, denied an international tournament, his last one being Worlds 2019.
It's always the hope that gets you. How close they got. I have no doubt they'll come into summer and they will once again be a dangerous, deadly team, but for now their journey ends. The disappointment will be bitter. Again, there's no shame in making this far, but for WE, the team that they knocked out in 4th place, that was their first dance in a lot of ways. That was their first run as this group of young players or players who haven't really had that level of success to get there. For IG, this is a group of veteran winners who are heirs to trophies that most players will never ever get even a whiff of. MSI trophies, Worlds trophies, LPL trophies are kind of secondary to that for some of these players. And for them, this is going to be bitter. It's not what they wanted. And BLG, a step too far this time.
BLG will get themselves to another finals, beaten by Anyone's Legend in a 3-2 series last couple of days in the run-up towards this finals. They'll have one day to take a break, to prepare, to come back for Anyone's Legend. BLG, so often a momentum-based team, a vibes-based team. And I think that Beitron, being someone who is not tied to the negative parts of the last BLG roster, failing at MSI finals, failing at Worlds finals, the stumbles of the team, I think that's allowed him to do great things. He doesn't have that same mental pressure. He is a player which people thought, okay, he might do well, but let's be honest, we wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. That lack of pressure has allowed him to play so well. I almost wonder if Beitron is my player. I think Knight still probably is my player of the series. I think I look at that Cassiopeia.
On might be up there as well. He had a pretty... Here's Renata.
But I think in terms of... Compared to expectations, Beitron played the best compared to what we expect of him.
Yeah.
And I think that should be recognized. This is a player which I don't think is the same level as Tarzan, Kanavi, perhaps JJ as well. But today he was. And he was what his team needed. He is no longer, as you were saying, the Band-Aid Beitron. This is the player Beitron, who was MVP of TT alongside players like 1XN as well. They'll be sad to miss him, and I do feel for Thunder Talk on the other side of it. Beitron deserves this international performance, though.
The other side of this, though, is the next step is a rematch against Tarzan and Kael, who
hard diffed
broke Beitron and On. This was a good series. It was a stabilizing series, reaffirming that these are still great players. But I think they're going up against one of the very best jungle support duos in the world right now, and that will make things tomorrow very spicy indeed.
Lana redeemed a fun fact, and I've got one which will cap off this nicely. Beitron has, in the past I've said he's never been on a top tier roster before. That's not technically true. Remember when Bo was playing for FPX?
Oh, yeah.
And he got banned? Beitron was the player that replaced him. Beitron actually did have that brief glimpse towards the start of his career at the FPX, I believe it was 2021, or maybe it was going into 2022 instead.
I couldn't tell you.
But yeah, Beitron played, I think, about 11 games for that roster before things got switched around again. So he has actually been on a couple of things, top tier game performances, I suppose. But it's been a while since he's been back there. He's been a player which has dipped down performance. And Qatari, thank you so much for the gift bomb as well. 5 there. Burfon, thank you so much for the resub earlier. Zareth, I called you out earlier, but thank you once again for the gift bomb there too. If you have enjoyed what we've been doing, my name is Nymaera, also known as Alex. This is Initialise, also known as Sam. We are actual brothers. We are related, and casting is our family business. It is what we do as a job. Now, what we do here on this stream is not a job. We're not paid by LPL, we're not paid by Riot. We're doing this because we love the region and we think that you deserve top tier commentary, which we think we can bring to you. And I hope you see that as well. Now, we might not get everything right because, we're casting from our bedroom and we cast like 100+ hours.
It's a lot of games, yeah.
Every month. If we cast every LPL game and we get damn close to it, it's about 150 hours per month, which is a hell of a lot. However, the LPL deserves it. There is no official broadcast for the LPL anymore. That's not a dig at other broadcasts. LPL English, they're doing fantastic as well. What that means is there are no resources in the region anymore. No one's paying for a broadcast. No one's supporting it from an official side, which means that you are the support for the LPL now, you the viewer, you the fan, if you love the LPL in the way that we do, or even just less, if you just like watching stuff and you got some free cash, you got for a subscription, you got a free clicky a mouse to drop a like or a subscribe on YouTube, whether that is on the Onivia restream or Nymaera on Twitch or YouTube, or on Sam's socials as well, on Initialise Cast. I couldn't do this without him as well. It means an awful lot to us. And if you choose to watch it elsewhere on another co-stream, Godspeed to you. Just enjoy the LPL as much as we do.
But basically, the long and short of that, guys, is if you have got that extra cash, that coffee money, consider maybe trading that coffee out for a sub here. It would go a long, long way to helping us keep doing this. It is a hard grind, and we appreciate all the support, all the views, and all the time you guys come in and enjoy with us here in this, because it is a hell of a grind.
That's going to end our broadcast out here today, folks. If you're on YouTube, the show will end now. If you're on Twitch, we'll find somewhere else to raid you over to. Thank you so much for watching us, and I hope you enjoyed some of these great plays. You know what? Started off poorly in lane, but what a series from this guy outside of it. He was fantastic outside of that. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will see you